Turn it on, turn it on. Hey, we're here.
Hey.
It's on. It's on. We're here. Hello,
We're
hello,
here.
everybody.
What's up, everybody?
Hello. We're singing. What's going on? How are you guys?
Good. Doing really
Cool.
good.
It's Monday night. It's time for Firelight Tales. It's time to see what happens to the Titans heirs. You guys get that? That's you, right? Is that a
What?
spoiler?
What?
is that part clear?
No way.
Wait. I've spent 11 episodes trying to figure out when we're going to find these errors, and you
Weird.
even with Salo
It
along.
makes sense.
That's right. That's right.
It's been in your heart this whole time.
The friends you made along the way, something like that.
It's not about the mission, it's about the journey. No, it's about the destination.
It's definitely about the destination tonight. Because you guys are
sorry.
basically at
Journey
a
before
destination.
destination. Brandon Sanderson, people.
We got a Standerson in the house. Is that I've reached too far for that one, huh? I can't go back.
Sanders.
Jesus Christ.
See if that's Matt approved.
I don't think it is.
We'll
I don't
see.
think it is.
We'll see.
What's going on? What's new with all of you folks? I saw some of you last night. I've not seen others of you since last week. You all do look beautiful, though. You're lovely looking people. I like looking at you.
Well, better you have to stare at us all the time.
Yeah, cool. Last night we played Kings of Neon. That was cool. That was pretty fun. I think the players there are all pretty high on that game, so that's fun. But I'm psyched to get back to Abrea. I've been thinking a lot about what's going to happen this week. You guys have thoughts?
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
I do.
We're going to continue to head southwest.
It's going to be more journeying,
Yeah.
more travel.
The fact that we saw some wyverns leaving the tomb makes me think we're not going to get to the tomb.
We're
We will
going
be-
to try our darndest.
We're going to try our darndest. But I think we're going to get partway there and fight some wyverns before we get there and not actually make it to the tomb.
Also, in this episode, maybe we'll find out if Erie's learned her lesson.
About melee combat?
Let's not be in melee combat, maybe.
Can I ask an important question? Does Erie have shields? She doesn't, huh?
No, it's one of those ones that's like on the list to study, but there just hasn't been time.
It's
Nice.
in Ursula's spell book.
Technically, if it's on her bucket list, she should have it now.
I was going to say she used her reaction to die, but that's a whole other thing.
I have a quick question to ask everybody in the party. Does anyone have any diamonds on them?
No.
Or
No way.
Let me check. I'm not in roll 20, Mike.
No way.
So I do have some thoughts on last session, if I could actually.
Let's talk about it for a second.
All right, so I'm a little concerned. Holrick is a little concerned that we met a whole bunch of dwarves that seemingly came from nowhere, that don't want to tell us where they came from, that apparently seem to be hunting for what I consider to be my birthright. How's that sound?
Sounds suspicious.
Rich, can I
Sounds
talk
very
about
suspicious.
That's my concern, is that we are outnumbered. Thank you, Crixus. We are outnumbered still because Crixus keeps saving the dwarves. But
Well, 12 more sessions and we'll have no dwarves left.
But no, I mean, but in all seriousness, that's my concern going into this, and that's what I've been thinking about over the last week, is that we have a whole bunch of dwarves that we're traveling with now that we don't trust. We have
I trust them.
I trust them.
Wow.
He brought me back to life.
I have
What's
to.
that?
They're a follower of the shepherds.
I'm just saying that all right. So we have people that are operating under suspicious circumstances, right? I think that's fair. What? No, I mean, seriously, they won't tell us where they came from, right? I mean, like, we're so sheltered, we don't know where anything is anyway. They could say, like, oh, yeah, we're from such and such a town, you know? And unless Rich changes it again, we'll never figure out it's right or wrong. And then, like, you know, we don't know where they're from. We know they're hunting an item that they just explained is really our birthright, because we're Clan
The
Erkengard.
Titans.
Well,
Right.
can I tell you where the Mall of the Titans is?
It's not in Forgotten Realms. It's
Yeah, sure it's not. It's not with a,
Well, hold on a second.
half
Can we just-
giant.
wait a minute. Let's just roll back on. Let's look at it. I think that what you're
get a hold of these
there,
bad folks,
but
Mike.
let's roll back what we could actually figure out a little bit. So you have some suspicions. Now, what we found out about them is that they're Erie. Can you help me? Like they're the shepherds of Aragagon or something.
That's not a real name.
I'm not a fan of
It's
oregano.
It's Vala. It's Vala.
Yeah, they follow Vala, and he, if I remember correctly, he insinuated that they came from her citadel, or at least had been there.
So what we could do? Okay, so the whole idea is now what we're basically that's essentially a gold dragon as far as what Erie relayed to us, which essentially is like a protector, a good person. So now the whole idea is this a story that Ulrich is this a story that they're relaying to us? Is this just a cover story? So if this is what you're actually conveying, or if you're talking character or out of character, I mean, there are methods for us to perhaps.
I understand that. I don't want to go too crazy. I mean, we probably shouldn't be discussing this out of character at all. But, I mean, the truth is that it is something that, I mean, so take it one step further that, like, if we're Clan Erkengard and this is, the Maul of the Titans is one of the last heirlooms of our clan, then there's going to be conflict because I'm not just going to turn it over. Provided we happen upon it and don't get killed along the way.
I think that the end goal, I feel like if we ever got there, like that would become clear. They know that we're relatively, I don't know if important is the right word, but that we've expressed that like we do come from Erkengard, like Clan Erkengard, and like we are the like Titans heirs. And I think that if it came to it, our end goal is their end goal. Like
I have a question too. Why did they bring Erie back to life?
I'm just saying that it's, I'm not completely comfortable with our new travelers. I'm not saying that I have connected all the dots, but I'm not completely comfortable with our new travelers. And on that same note of not being comfortable, Lothar has not bothered me for a while. But now if we're going to start getting back around his own forces where he could possibly turn on us and make a name for himself to save his own hide, that would be a concern too.
A bunch of things at once. I love this conversation. This is a conversation that like we would have after the game or before the game or in between sessions. So I love that it's happening now. Number two, I love that in the back corner of Taylor's room is a poster celebrating the year of my birth. Number three, I really totally like dig where Crixus was coming from. Number four, like we should get in character sooner than later. And number five is just that the dynamic between Lothar and you guys and the dwarves is like, oh yeah, yes, I love it. I love all of this.
Is Lothar's a halfling, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Yes,
we have dwarves and a halfling. We're
dwarves
writing the Hobbit
and a halfling. Yeah, now with one dwarf dead, Ulrich makes up the 13th dwarf.
Sure.
And so basically that means, I'm not sure, some combination of Crixus and Angus are Gandalf, basically, is how I'm reading this.
I'm offended. Erie is Gandalf. Hello.
She's
it's like
ill-equipped.
it's all three of you guys. Like
Crixus
it's
can be
Crixus
Legolas.
on Angus's shoulders, and you're the hat at the top. It's like it's so great.
Nice.
Okay.
So
Right.
should we jump in? You guys want to keep talking? I'm sorry, Mike.
No.
I cut you right off. You had another thought, Mike?
No, I think this is great. Let's get into the game and let's stir the pot a little bit. Come on, Ulrich, let's jump in. Let's get this roll going.
As we left off, having just been attacked by wraiths and specters that emerged from the caverns where these dwarves, these wanderers, serving under Baudry Ironstave, cleric of Vala, had gathered and made their camp. And so shortly after arriving back at this camp, these wraiths and specters, incorporeal undead, those cursed to remain enduring after their bodies long since rotted away in these in these haunted hills of the Drakencaern peaks attacked you. Eerie fell in battle. Beaudry Ironstave, thankfully, able to call on a miracle from Vala, the Just Mother, to restore her to life. A terrifying moment. Crixus, able to save a group of the dwarves whose aid he ran to, but unfortunately, one did fall. And so we left off last time in the immediate aftermath of this kind of frantic battle. You all sort of scattered around these, not gullies, but ravines. And so we come back in tonight, right? The camera opening up as we take in this big wide shot of the dozen dwarves scurrying about. Lothar, the halfling in his armor of the Sapphire Legion, muddied though it may be, matching that of the soldiers who have been hunting you, and the four of you
with the shirt over it.
Yep, he does have a shirt over it. Yep, he does. He does indeed have a shirt over it. Unfortunately, Mezer the dwarf is dead, but Beaudry, Greng, Amos, Bindle, Rappin, Kringle, Dunnell, Hester, Landry, Mekran, Emmett, and Brunhild all yet endure.
Yes.
So what happens as the camera comes in? Who do we crystallize in on? What's happening?
Where are we? Right after the fight?
I think so, yeah. I think we're in the immediate aftermath of that fight, yes. Here, I could do this if it's helpful to you.
Can you tell us the time of night or day?
It was daytime. The sun is still shining.
Well, Eerie, for one, is she's muddy face and with streaks of tears leaning up against the side of the cliff near where Lothar was.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Ulrich looks at you and it's just he was, when we left off, he was hugging you. He's like, I can't believe we lost you. Have a brief. I'm so happy you're here.
I never want to do that again.
Crixus walks over and says, Eerie, don't do that ever again.
I don't plan to, Crixus.
Because I don't know if I bring you back or not.
Yeah, Eerie,
unless you have some diamonds, I don't know if I could bring you back.
I was looking, I don't.
Question, Crixus? I don't. I just have 5 gold pieces.
I know.
I think the camera looks into Angus's bag and we see these 5 loose gold pieces along with a turtle. It's just
The turtle's in a little turtle harness that he wears around his neck.
My bad.
I would think so, right?
Yeah. It's like a baby Bjorn, but for turtle.
But with a turtle in it. He's just constantly flailing, you know? Shit, turtles.
On that note, Eerie calls out to Beaudry. Thank you. I don't know what we would have done if you weren't here.
Beaudry is down on one knee over fallen Mezer. The other dwarves kind of gathered around him, half of their number. And as you call to him, he turns and he rises. He kind of pats one of the dwarves on the shoulder, nodding, murmuring some words of comfort as he heads over to you. And he's just girl, don't thank me, thank Vala. She grants these gifts. I merely ask for them.
Eerie stands up and I'm sorry. I feel I'm so grateful. I can't help but feel you would have been able to bring your friend back.
And I think he turns, looking at the fallen form of his comrade, right? The other dwarves are kind of putting their arms under him, lifting up Mezer, as it were, his body limp and lifeless, And Beaudry looks back to you we were lucky that you found us when you did, or half my number would have fallen to those soldiers back there. And he looks to Crixus and just kind of nods, you're a friend, his father. Well, they gave us a gift this day. So perhaps you too were lucky that you found us. We've helped each other. Mezer's paid for it with a price too high, but we all knew what stood in our way when we walked from our homes.
I start tending to the wounded, I guess. That's what not I guess, I definitely do that. Crixus starts tending to the wounded. Erie, how are you doing? Are you still...
I'm at half.
Okay.
But I need to rest so badly. I'm tapped.
Can we possibly find a place to safely rest?
What were you going to say, Kurt?
Oh, that I'm not doing so hot either, but I have some healing that I can share amongst those who are injured.
Okay. I think...
Hit points, Erie.
Thank you.
Okay, so Crixus calls for a prayer from Ruldo. Erie, like, you take a deep breath, like, kind of strain the soreness, the, like, shivering cold that sort of permeated you, washes away a little bit, right? The dwarves are all kind of gathering. They've carried Mezer over, and I think Beaudry is just like, build a cairn, break the tents. We need to be ready to move. We cannot stay here too long. And Crixus, we see after, like, he casts this prayer on you, he starts, like, bandaging some of the dwarves that are sitting down, some of them that are hurt worse than others.
Too, if he sees them badly injured or injured, gives them 9 hit points.
Ooh, nice.
No.
Angus.
To Angus? Oh, many thanks, Crixus.
That's you.
Actually, what he just does is another 6 hit points.
Okay, so I think at this moment is like you walk over towards Angus and you cast this prayer on him, Crixus, and then you cast the second one. The dwarves are kind of moving around. Halric and Erie are over near Beaudry Ironstave, right? But I think Lothar comes walking over to the pair of you, Crixus and Angus, and he's like, psst, hey.
Mm-hmm. I'll come over to him.
I've got an idea. Just hear me out. I know Halric hates me, and I think Erie might like me a little too much, so I want to pitch you two on this idea.
Okay, so I lean in, I bend down, and I lean in.
He like leans forward to you. He's like, I've been thinking about it, and we're in a tough predicament. Now, I could sneak out ahead. He says every group with whatever forces there are at this tomb. Okay, now listen, I know you don't trust me. Probably you shouldn't trust me. If I were you, I wouldn't trust me, but at this point we're in this together. I've killed soldiers that I've served with, all right? I've been up here with you for days. You saved my life.
So
looks at you, Crixus.
So while he's talking to me, Crixus is, I guess Crixus is going to just kind of like look at him, sort of a Larry David look. I don't know if anyone.
Crixus' Larry David is not what I was anticipating tonight.
Gives him the look. And with that, I am rolling my insight, which because I'm giving him the Larry David look, it's probably advantage. But because I'm really focusing on him, looking for any body, if he's, sweating or anything like that. So
yeah. And so I think that he goes on.
So let me. So Chris,
he's like.
You want to sneak up ahead and then rejoin them?
No, but we need to know what's in front of us, right? I mean, I can't go back alone, and you all are going forward, right? You're going to fight these people. So isn't it better if we know where they are, how many of them they are, what they're doing, what they know about us? If I can not get caught, maybe I don't get caught. Maybe I can just lay eyes on them and come back. But if they see me, they might not kill me straight up. I might have an opportunity to kind of get back in their good graces, weasel my way in there, you know what I mean? And then I can get a beat on what's happening here. And either when you all come storming over the ridge with your dozen dwarves over here, I can help you. Or Yeah, that's right. That's right. We just call it a dozen. Where I'm from, my parents were bakers before they were killed. That's a joke. I'm just kidding. I just don't count well. He says, or I could try to sneak back. It's just a thought.
Wait. I thought that you would have to sneak back because you have to tell us who's there.
Well, if I don't get caught, then I'll sneak back. But if they catch me, it might be hard for me to sneak back. So maybe when you all come over the mountain in your victorious battle charge of 13 dwarves, I'll turn on them. I'll be the man on the inside.
Well, I mean,
it's just a
I think
thought.
we have to mention this to Hallmark because if we don't mention
No, please don't tell the dwarf, please. He's like, Hallmark can hear you.
You have to talk to Hallmark. He's the big brother. I can't do this behind his back. If I do, he's gonna take that hand axe and he's gonna, bonk me over the head with it. I can't do that. He can be very stern sometimes, as you know. And by the way, if you run away and don't tell him, he'll throw the hand axe at you first. So it makes a lot of sense if we're honest and we tell Hallmark and Angus and but maybe not Yuri.
Angus is right there.
Yeah, Angus is here. He's talking about you guys.
Where were you?
I was like, holy shit!
A mile away. Oh, okay. I didn't know you were there. I can usually feel your hoofs on the ground.
I'm like the wind.
See, I didn't know if that was Crixus being startled or Mike startled. He missed the description at the opening of all this. But
I don't
remember him.
As this is all happening, like Lothar looks over and we see Beaudry Ironstave is like sitting there with Yuri and Ulrich. And I think Beaudry Ironstave looking to you, Yuri and Ulrich, he says, well, I do not know how you want to proceed, but I think I may have a plan.
Me too, actually.
We're gonna have to deal with whatever's waiting for us outside that tomb. Now, well, I'm not sure if me and me lot will be able to take them. But I know one thing. We need rest, and we're in no good position to get it. We can try to find some place to hole up, take watches, circle through. But I could also ask for volunteers, see if some of them might be willing to make a run across the mountains and try to lure off whatever kind of sentries they may have outside that place. There's likely to be some kind of camp or something or another.
Yeah, I need rest. I would love to try and find some place. I can protect a few of us, but not everybody at once, unfortunately.
I understand, girl. It's been me lot to try to protect more than I can for every day we've been out on this march. Anyway, I'm not sure what your plan is, what you intend if you manage to get into the tomb. But it seems like we're in this together, to one extent or another.
To be honest, I don't think we had a reason other than that we were sort of being pulled here. We were hoping to find more answers when we got here. And, certainly meeting you and your company is... We're not sure what lies in wait for us inside of the tomb.
Nor I, but I know that between us and the doors of that place, there's a dragon. And the first dragoon of the Sapphire Legion, who I imagine is no pushover. So, I need to attend to Mekker. You all think about what you want to do. And so I think he strides off and he's calling to some of the dwarves this looks like a good place down by the water. Mekker always loved some fishing. And dwarves are like picking boulders and kind of carrying them over. Like Mecker's body has been like kind of his armor taken off, his equipment removed, very like utilitarian, this group, and which you guys probably all can relate to. And some of them have kind of wrapped him in this cloth taken, this blanket taken from one of the tents, and they're all working to build this cairn while others are breaking down these tents. So the four of you kind of regroup, Lothar trailing behind Crixus and Angus.
So I guess Crixus whispers to Angus, so what should we do?
Did I notice at all that they were talking to Lothar?
Probably not. I think Beaudry, go ahead, sure. Make a perception check. Sure, I'll give it to you.
Okay.
Make a perception check. Beaudry was talking to you.
14.
14. I think you caught out of the corner of your eye that the three of them were talking, though you didn't hear what they were saying.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, when it comes to this Lothar, and he's saying this he kind of pulls Crixus away from Lothar to talk to him. It sounds like our options are to either trust the little guy and let him potentially infiltrate the camp or turn on us, or for us to just go in with what may already be the element of surprise. So I don't know if I think for me the risk of him potentially turning is greater than the risk of us going in without any additional information. I think right now we'd have the element of surprise either way. But it would sure make a heck of a great story, you betcha, if the little guy went in there and turned on them and then they helped us. So, always ready for a good story. So 6 of one, half dozen of the other,
So what do you want to do, big brother? We'll be quiet and just let Lothar just follow us? We'll just do a surprise? I mean, we have the squirrel.
That's actually, I was actually thinking that earlier. He was like, we don't need the little guy as a scout. We have the squirrel. And we don't know that they're camped. We saw, Rich, what did we see? We saw in the ring division, we saw the wyverns leaving the tomb.
You saw a couple of the wyverns in the area.
And a blue dragon right in front of the entrance with a minotaur on the back of it.
Uh-oh.
Maybe they moved on.
I'm glad we're optimists here.
I'm thinking that we keep Lothar with us.
Sounds good to me. I'm really tired though. I need to sleep.
Are you injured?
No, I'm only my heart is injured, Angus, because of what happened to Erie. I'm very worried about what might happen next, especially if that minotaur that rides the dragon. I heard someone was saying he might be a dragoon. I don't know what that is, but that doesn't sound nice.
Like a dragon, but with
Dragoon.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm gonna go see if anyone else needs some help with some. I've got some healing left that I could do for some folks. So he puts his hand on Crixus's shoulder and goes, if you have differing thoughts than mine, I welcome them. I don't know. I'm torn between what seems logical and what make a damn good story.
Well, we have this squirrel. I don't see it's necessary to send him. I think, like you said, it makes a lot of sense that the odds are. I don't know. We already have a scout. I don't think it's necessary to send him up ahead.
I think at this point, Hallrick and Erie, you guys are wrapped up with Beaudry. You can come walking over.
Yeah, I'd come walking over. What's going on?
Nothing, says Lothar.
Well, they pulled away from Lothar so they could have this conversation, right?
Yeah. Lothar's following you guys as you approach. Mm-hmm. You're like, whoa. There's a lot of that happening.
He like eyes him. How you doing after that?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little rattled. I mean, there's ghosts coming out of the walls of the mountains. If the mountains are filled with ghosts, we're really in bad shape up here. Doesn't
they're definitely filled with ghosts. Like, there's a lot of old battlegrounds up here.
You all right?
Mm-hmm.
You look
alive again.
A little dead for a minute.
I was. Yeah.
So you're scarier now is what you're trying to tell me then?
Boo.
I think he's like... Listen, I'm glad that it worked out.
Yeah, me too. We need to find a place to rest.
Yeah.
And we need to discuss what we want to do.
Yeah, good idea. I don't know if anybody has a plan. He like turns, he's like looking at like Ulrich, like.
Ulrich's looking back at him like.
Well, actually, I was thinking I could, just so we can get a lay of the land, I could send Denon out. See what's up, see how many enemies we're fighting.
How far can he go?
I think it's 100 feet before I lose.
You can see through his eyes up to 100 feet away from you. He can go further than that.
So.
Okay.
Angus is looking around to see if any of, he's first sizing up Ulrich and Eerie to see if they need any healing.
Yeah.
I'm low. I'm missing 2 hit points, so I'm okay.
That's just a flesh wound. Are any of the dwarves like really?
No, most of them are actually in decent enough shape. Like some of them are like pretty worn out. Like all of you are exhausted, right? Everybody needs sleep. That's really what it comes down to. None of them like appear badly wounded.
Okay.
I wonder if he does have an actual scout in his group that he could send forward. I would say this. I'm saying it in front of everybody. So.
I could ask.
Yeah, we're gonna have to ask him. Instead of just bringing a whole group in there blind, maybe there's somebody who could sneak up there.
Okay, so is that what's happening? You call over to Beaudry?
Well, he was caring for his dead friend, right? I mean,
yeah, they're like they're building this cairn over the corpse of Mezer. It seems down by the water. They're like all doing that. Yep.
So I would probably wait respectfully until he was done.
Okay, so I think over the course of like the next 15 or 20 minutes, like the camp is broken down. The dwarves are like super good at what they're doing. Like this is clearly not their first rodeo. The like cairn comes together very quickly. They pile these rocks. They set Mezer into it, like wrapped in this kind of shroud, and they stack the rocks up around him, and then like they all start like singing very kind of low. They're not like booming out these like echoing bellows into the mountain, but they all have like this low kind of like chanting thing that Beaudry like leads.
Angus tries to accompany them on his war horn.
Okay. Make a performance check.
Oh, God. Come on.
Yeah. Hi ho.
Oh, no.
Oh, wrong mood.
I think as they're like singing that too,
I tried to read the
Angus
room.
Gets the horn and is like, and it really is like a little. It's not bad horn playing, but it's not the appropriate accompaniment. You see some dwarven eyes like darting towards you, like frowns, uncertainty. You pretty quickly catch the vibe that like this is not the tone they're looking for.
Can I take out my cowbell and try to see if that does any better?
Oh my God! I mean, you
Can
could.
Ulrich put his hand up? Can Ulrich put his hand up when he sees him go for the cowbell?
Yeah, sure. Is it one of these?
Ulrich wants more cowbell. I agree.
No, Ulrich just like,
Oh no.
13.
ding, 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 ding. He starts. He's like hitting the cowbell like rhythmically as these dwarves are singing, and Holrog's like. And so the dwarves like finish their song. A couple of them like eyeing Angus like frowns, furrowed brows, and Beaudry Ironstave just gives like this last like. So we leave Mezer in the Drakencairns with his cousins and his brothers and his sisters we've left behind us. May his sacrifice not be in vain. And they all kind of break, and so he comes like heading over to you, and he's like, thank you for that accompaniment, Brighthorn.
I kind of reading the room a little bit, I realized that it wasn't. I tried to correct mid-course. Yeah, but your kindness is appreciated.
Mezer tried to learn the trumpet when he was a boy, and he was also, he was terrible, so it's all right. Thank you.
Angus tries to ignore the also.
He says, I do not know what you're thinking. He says, if it were us alone, we would seek rest where we could. We're in no condition to press on like this.
Do you have... they're still stacking the stones. Do you have any scouts in your group that might be able to survey the area prior to us entering it? I'm sure they would need to rest as well.
What are you thinking?
I can send Denon. I would rather not put anybody in danger.
But you can only send in at 100 feet and see. Like, what's your thought? You want to like send him further and have him come back, or what? What do you think?
I could try and get close with maybe somebody else to help me out, but
We can carry her while Denon is scouting.
But then that defeats the purpose. 100 feet isn't really much of anything in like a mountainous region with like airborne mounts over us. Like 100 feet's nothing.
He says Hester and Landry both. They're quiet, quick, keen eyes. There are point marchers when we're pushing. Either could certainly scoot up over the hills and take a look to see what they see. If you want to head with them, girl.
And if we can avoid putting anybody in too close to danger, I would prefer that.
We'd prefer not to put you in danger either, I think.
Well, I think we're a little past that, unfortunately.
Aye.
That's fair read.
So, what do you want to do?
I think we all need to rest first. That seems to be the consensus.
All right.
Beaudry, I can... If you're interested, I don't know if you would rather have all of your company stay outside, but I can create a sort of protective barrier around 9 of us, including my group. So 5 dwarves, if you're interested, if anybody specifically needs...
I think we hear Lothar, like, he's, like, doing the counting real quick, like, 5 dwarves and 4 of you, that's 9. He's like, I'm just... All right.
Do you want to stay in the dome, Lothar?
No.
You said you were doing
no,
okay.
Just leave me out here. Yeah, I'm A-okay. A-okay. It's fine.
No, you're going to stay in the dome.
So I would look at you and just say, I remember there was one time you made that dome, and it was pretty quick. And there was another time that it took a really, really long time. Is there a difference why it would take that long?
What do you mean?
Out of character, I think he's talking about the ritual casting.
Right.
I've ritual casted every time.
So can't you ritual cast it more than once, or am I mistaken?
I have to be inside of it. If I leave it, it disappears.
Oh.
She can only maintain one at a time.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I was looking at that to see if maybe I could do it, but I can't, unfortunately.
Can you start by making like a really small one that holds 2 people, and then maybe a slightly larger one, so it's like a dwarven nesting doll?
Can't really control the size, but
neither can I.
Beaudry. 4 dwarves.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. God help me, I was waiting for it.
I'm willing to stay outside the. If there's some dwarves that are ailing, or our friend Lothar here, I'm willing to stay outside the dome.
Yeah, I could stay outside too.
You're kind to share your space with them. Lothar's like, yeah, no problem.
Lothar?
I'm shutting up.
Thank you.
I think Beaudry is just like, Amos, Kringle, Donald, Brunhild, Greng, you 5, go with them. Sleep fast too. You won't have much time.
Sleep fast.
He says, come on. I have a notion of where we might tuck in under some overhangs. At least keep us out from under the wide open sky. Everybody pack up! And so we see the dwarves all like grabbing these bundles, these big crates that were all over the campsite. They're kind of like cinching the ropes over their shoulders, pulling them up. And pretty quickly, Beaudry and his dozen dwarves, a lot of you, you like press a little further into the ravine. You're moving kind of further away from the tomb, but he leads you for what amounts to probably like a quarter mile until you come into like this kind of like
quarter mile. Can I just jump in? I go over to Hulric, and Crixus whispers into his ear that Lothar had a plan as well, and I convey that plan to him.
If we're walking separately, can I walk separately with Crixus?
Sure. Yeah, you guys like fall back a little bit, right? You're trailing behind this group as they're all kind of out in front of you.
So, if you convey what was said to you, I'd say to you, well, I think there's a way that I wasn't worried about him when we were on the trail alone, because if he attacked one of us or he did something, then he'd either get killed or get left for dead. I mean, he doesn't have the skills to really survive out here, I don't think, the way that we do. But now that we're getting back near the army, this is where I get concerned. So I guess I think we wait for the Dwarven scouts to come back.
I'm not saying that we should do it. I'm just telling
listen to
you
me.
That's what he was saying to me.
I think I appreciate it. But what I'm saying is, if we wait for the Dwarven scouts to come back and get a lay of the land, and then we send him, we tell him we're coming from a completely different direction, because he's gonna run to the army.
Oh.
And we let him send their attention in another way.
That's very clever, Hulric. Give him false information. Even better.
I think he would do it.
Sure.
I'd have to make a good show of it. Something like, I'll only let him go if I cut out his tongue or something. But, I mean, he wouldn't believe that I would just send him. But I think we could utilize him that way. So, all right. So we'll just keep walking.
Well,
okay.
Hulric, I had another plan as well. We could also. I like your plan just as well. So, but I was thinking we could also use Lothar could be a distraction for maybe get them to separate, maybe leave the camp, and he could lead them astray a little bit.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that we tell them that we're going to sweep around to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And we tell him that the scouts found a place where we can make an ambush and that we're going to cause a distraction, but it's going to take us half a day's travel to get there, and that he should meet us over there for the ambush. And then
if they don't believe him and they just torture him or something.
I think,
or even worse, kill him, then we'll be responsible for his death.
If he doesn't do anything wrong, listen to me. If he doesn't do anything wrong, then he'll stand there and he'll scout the area. We'll tell him our plan, and he'll stand there and scout the area and report back to us. And if he does try to double cross us, then he's a traitor, and I'm not going to feel bad if they kill him.
I told him that if he did betray us, your hand axe would probably find him first in the battle.
I don't think it'll have to, because if he does double cross us and they find out we're not staging an ambush, they'll likely just kill him. So then we won't have to do anything. So if he's honorable and doesn't try to turn us over, then nothing bad will happen to us. He'll meet up with us again.
Hey, you know what? I was thinking they're in front of the entrance of the tomb, right?
Right.
Do you think that there might be a secret entrance to the tomb?
I was wondering that myself. Or an air shaft or another way in.
Yeah, maybe there's another way in besides the front entrance. It just seems to me that dwarves are so clever and they make all those little tunnels and things. I mean, if I was a dwarf, maybe I would have a different way to get in instead of the front doors. Doesn't make sense. I don't know. I was just.
Did we ever find it?
Well, of all people to find it, maybe you would be. And how about the other dwarfs?
Yeah, that's another question. It's all right.
Okay, so I think you guys finish your little like quarter-mile hike, right? Your short hike, and the dwarves kind of roll up in this kind of alcove in these ravines, right? There's a good bit of rock overhanging. It's not a really deep cave, but there's a recess down underneath the back. And so they all kind of very methodically, right? They're like checking. They have weapons out and staves. They're kind of like poking around, checking, like punching at like the roof. They're like, "Oh, it's secure here. Yeah, we're good here, Captain." And so the dwarves kind of like spread out. They're stuffing their bundles and boxes down low under the rocks. And he's just like, spread wide, rest quiet. You know, he's like, "Brunhild, you take a couple and get on point. Keep them awake. We'll sleep in shifts. If you let me to rest, now's the time to do it."
So I would ask Beaudry, Crixus and I were talking. Do you think there's a possibility there's a back entrance?
We've questioned it the whole way out here, to be honest with you. We hoped that it would be, well, secluded. That we would find the place forgotten here in the mountains, and we might be able to work at excavating the main holes. No dwarf worth his salt would build tunnels below ground with only one exit. Right. So I'm sure there's another way in, but finding it, that might be tricky. What do you think?
Well, I would expect it at the back of a cave. I would expect we'll have to see rubble over it. But, I mean, how long ago was this built?
Near 1,000 years, boy.
Well, the rubble might have fallen down. I mean, if there's an entrance, I would expect to see tracks in the snow from animals using any kind of cover up here they can find.
Never mind. Angus hasn't been around for any of this conversation about other entrances, so never mind.
Well, you're here now, right? I mean, like, you could be hearing this conversation.
The vision that Angus has been seeing through the ring of the tomb, it's always been squarely on the entrance, right? Not like... Oh.
Yep, it's these stairs like leading up into the mountain with rubble like collapsed and spilled down it, and this statue of like this massive dwarf in the center of like a plaza in front.
Is the front entrance cleared?
No.
Oh. Okay. So we okay.
That's probably what.
So even if there wasn't like a dragon issue, that we'd have to figure out how to get in anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, we'll start at the start. Do you guys want to rest?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Before we all separate, though, Eerie kind of takes her bros to the side.
Oh.
Hey, guys. Before we do this, I just want to kind of give you guys some things from Ursula, and she'll open her cloak and pull one of the patches off that has the little like potion bottle on it, and 4 healing potions appear And
You see Eerie like rip this patch out, yeah, and like you have to like cast it down on the ground for it to work. Like you kneel down and drop it onto the ground, and the patch kind of like suddenly like just bubbles up, almost magician style, right? And as you kind of like lift it up, it's blank, and there's these 4 potion bottles underneath it.
Angus maybe sees Crixus's eyes light up in amazement and like, oh, fizzy sweet drink. Or he's worried. He puts a hand in front of Crixus and is like, he looks at Eerie. He's like, what are these?
These are healing potions.
And he looks at Crixus and is like, not a sweet drink, Crixus, but for use when you're injured.
Oh, well, yeah, I make those.
Yes.
So I recognize them.
Okay.
But I was thinking now we have 2 each. Well, I have more than that.
I still have
That's
one.
great. Thank you. Fizzy
Yeah.
drinks. I know the difference between fizzy drinks and healing potions, Angus.
Just making
Don't you
sure.
remember I gave you one a long time ago? But thank you, though. If you do have a fizzy drink, I'll take it, though. Don't forget to look for them in the tomb. And I wink at them. I don't think they'll be fizzy drinks.
Thank you, Eerie.
Yes, thank you.
You're
Angus
welcome.
does not have a healing potion on him, so this is his first.
I gave you a healing potion. Crixus gave you one a long time ago. But I guess you used it, right?
Used to. It's not on my
Probably.
character sheet.
Oh,
Lots of
Um,
potions have been used so far.
What kind of healing potions are they? Are they just standard?
Standard potion of healing, 2d4 plus 2.
Potions of awesome healing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was
Man, that robe is filled with useful items.
Certainly is.
just thinking, I could ask some of the plant life in the area of the tomb if they know of any other entrances. Either if they've seen, I don't know, sometimes plants are connected through a root system, so maybe they can like communicate with each other, or maybe they've seen things like coming in and out of somewhere, or I don't know, but we could potentially ask some local plant life.
Or it's just as in awe, you know.
The dwarf's just like, all right. You know?
I mean, they tend to be pretty stationary, so don't know. We may need to like narrow down an area, but it's a possibility. Because maybe they communicate. Maybe they can also communicate with other plants of their kind, and so we kind of technically like get actually like a network of information. I don't know.
If the roots are big enough.
Is there a way to like speak with like mountain goats or something like that?
Speak with the mountain goat.
Or, well, I'm just thinking an animal that would probably cover
Yeah.
a lot of ground that, you know.
An animal on like
Or
a
a
plant
mountain
that
cat,
walks, you
or a
mean?
mountain lion that we saw that was hunting us.
That was a while ago, though, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, mountain lions have
True.
they don't
It was last
in
night.
one place.
Yeah.
They tend to.
Rich and I
They
have
do
been
have a
hunted by mountain
huge
lions.
territory. That's a true fact, not in Dungeons and Dragons, but in real life. Anyway, that's a story for another stream. So, yeah, I don't know. What are you guys doing?
Interesting.
Come
I-
on.
I need sleep.
Resting.
I'm
Yeah.
resting.
Okay, so Eerie breaks out her little black book there, and she like conjures and casts her hands, weaving magic as she pours out this circle and this kind of this powdered ingredient, and this dome springs up opaque on the exterior, and you guys all pass through it into the kind of climate controlled comfort of the interior. I think that like Eerie is like you're about to like head in, you turn and you see Lothar like sitting on his bedroll, like he just like waves at you. This like look on his face, like I can't believe you're leaving me with the dwarves. And so you head in along with the 5 dwarves aforementioned by Beaudry, and they're all like, well, this is really quite impressive, And I think that, Bindle especially, like, Bindle kind of absently hands one of the candies to Crixus, and he's like, have you been sleeping in these the whole way from your village, then? This is not bad. How come we don't have any of these? And somebody like smacks him in the head like, shut up, Bindle. He's like, oh, come on, Greg. What do I know? All right. I'm bone weary. All right, so we sleep. And they all kind of like situate themselves, dropping bedrolls down.
Before we go
up.
to bed, I give, since Angus exclaimed that he only had one healing potion, I give him a healing potion that I have. So now Angus has 2 healing potions.
Angus has 2. Everybody else added 1 from the robe.
Because you might need it just in case.
Okay.
Well, thank you, little brother.
So you sleep. You begin to rest for the night.
Boy.
Can you tell me if I get a short rest on?
You do. After the first hour, the second hour, the third, at some point in the night, some of you might awaken as some of the dwarves wake up and they like take themselves out of the dome. They go to like switch to relieve their companions outside keeping watch, and you guys manage to get through 8 hours and you get a long rest. Impressive.
Nice.
Good rolls.
Holy moly. That was scary for a second. 94? That's a scary number. That's an extreme. Scary.
Can be intimidating.
94.
Uh-oh.
So, Eerie, you could figure out your memorizations for the morning. Crixus, you could figure out your memorizations for the morning. Hallrick, Angus, you guys get all your stuffs back.
Nice. I'll get my spells lined up. Oh, that's none. That's right. All right.
Yep, cool. Just make sure all your hit points are in order. Pick the ones you want to use today. And so I think that as the dome kind of melts away in the like last kind of moments of the spell being up, you see the dwarves all kind of like gathered. They're eating cold rations, right? This old hard cheese, this like salted meat that they've got. They're gnawing on. They're passing water skins between them. And Beaudry, like walking over to the lot of you, he says, I'm prepared for a new day. I've given my prayers to Vala. There's magic to seek answers, but it's beyond me, unfortunately. I don't have much more guidance than my own wisdom. He says, the scouts, they're happy to stretch out and take a look at what's happening. Hester and Landry are good. I don't know if you want to send Eerie with them, one or both. I'm happy to hear whatever it is you think you want to do. We can try to hold this location and just prowl through the mountains for a few days, see if we can find an entrance through the back way, though I fear we might be too late.
I'm looking around for Lothar. Is he near us, away from us? Where is he?
Yeah, he's not that close to you. He's probably like 30 or 40 feet away. He's off, like, sitting on one of the rocks, gnawing on this salted meat with the kind of, like, annoyed look on his face.
So I'm going to, like, lean in, and whisper to him and just, like, give him the rundown on Lothar's idea and my suspicion that he would turn on us and possibly using him as a diversion. Mm-hmm. And he'll either prove his loyalty or lead them in a different direction. But we need a lay of the land from the scouts.
And I think Beaudry is like, it's a wise thought. Your friends, they're lucky that they got you thinking for them, with them. He says, if the little one does turn, well, I suppose it's no loss off our back at that point. He's not going to turn the tide against us, but who knows? He may prove his loyalty to you.
So, how far are we? Do we know about how far we are, Rich?
Yeah, you're like a little bit, like around half a mile from like the entrance.
All right. So I'll ask him, can you send your scouts out, have them come back, right, and then we'll tell Lothar to scout for us after we have a lay of the land. We'll send Lothar out to scout for us like he wants to do, and we'll, tell him that we're going to, once we get a lay of the land, we'll tell him where we're thinking of coming from, that we want to sweep around or whatever we want to tell him.
Okay. So Beaudry is just like, I'll send them. And so he turns and you see him striding over to these two dwarves, one of whom has like this kind of short, close cropped black hair and this very kind of trimmed, clean, meticulous black beard. The other of which, like, you pretty sure is a girl. Oh, you definitely know Ulrich. She's definitely like this female dwarf. She's got this kind of like braid of reddish hair thrown over one shoulder, And so Hester and Landry they talk with Beaudry for a minute and they both nod. And you see them like kind of unstrapping some of their equipment. They're pulling like these chain shirts off that they're wearing, and they like dig in their pouches a bit, their like packs, and they both proceed to pull out like these leather cloaks that are kind of dyed, mottled gray and white almost. And so the pair of them, like they like shoulder to shoulder just go like jogging out of the camp, short bows slung over their shoulders, hand axes at their belts.
I want to look at them. Does Lothar seem to notice if I look at Lothar out of the corner of my eye? Does he seem to pick up on this?
Yeah, you see Lothar like watching them run out.
Right.
I mean, you're all together in this group. Them leaving is like notable,
Yeah.
And I think he probably turns looking over at all of you, like scoping you out,
All right.
So you hang out for a couple hours, in other words. So it's like
a half mile, right?
Sleep.
A half mile.
Yeah, it's not like forever, but it'll take them a bit because they're moving slow. Right?
Yeah.
So they're like gone. It's probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours later that the pair of them come back, right? And so Beaudry like calls them over, and the three of them walk over to you. And so I think Hester is just like, she's like looks to you and then over to Beaudry, and he nods, and she's like, well, we didn't see no dragon, nor the Minotaur itself. The wyverns, though, they're circling up around that space. She says, I saw one in the sky. One was still down low by the entrance. I'd imagine a good enough distraction. You could catch their attention and lure them out. She says, there were 4 guards on the outside, humans or thereabouts, hard to say from the distance. I don't think they spotted us, or they would have been quicker on us. And, and I think that Landry adds in, he's like, I do not know what to think, Captain, but the wreckage and the tumbles, all the rock filled out over the entrance there, they started digging at it already. I could only imagine the dragon had to have done it itself. There's boulders tumbled and turned all about, but it looks like the way into the tomb is open. I'd imagine, well, I hate to say it, to think of them defiling such a holy place, but I imagine that Minotaur has got some of his soldiers inside already. The dragon, it's hard to say. It might be hiding right in the shadows on the other side of the entrance, but it also might be up above the clouds, circling, waiting to drop death down on us.
Have we had an idea of like how old this tomb is, just from the stories?
Yeah, so Grual Khan died in like the 9th century after the arrival, right? Like the year around now is like just over 2000. It's like right, so like this tomb is like about 1,000 years old, give or take. You can't be sure. It took him a while to build it after his death, but it's somewhere in the range of like 1,100 years old.
Ideally, Angus was like, we could find a plant that was around at that time, but that's going to be a tall order.
I hate to say it, but I think that time is up.
Yeah.
I think they're inside, and we need to stop them from doing whatever they're doing in there, because we know it's not good.
I don't think 2 more wyverns will be a problem. The question will be the dragon.
Yeah.
Well, Beaudry says, I'm happy to put myself out there and try to draw it out.
Go ahead.
This might be a kind of a ridiculous thought, but We don't have.
You're lagging out a little bit, Taylor. We just missed you one more time.
We have numbers. This might be a little ridiculous, but we have, I assume that your dwarves, Baudry, are strong some way.
We're strong enough. We made it this far.
If we could get that dragon on the ground, we have rope. Could we somehow restrain it?
I venture to say we're more likely to restrain it with crossbow bolts, hammers, and axes. But anything is possible.
I guess the only question I would have not seeing it is if there's a wyvern on the ground by the entrance and there was rubble, is there a possibility we could send more rubble down on one of the wyverns and just get it out of play before the battle even starts?
Baudry's like, my boys and my girls here, they're good with rock if nothing else. Trouble is, I do not know how long it will take us to get anything moving. By the time we're able to rig something up, we might give ourselves away.
Do we know how big the opening is?
I think that Hester is like, not that big, Miss Edie. Looks big enough for one of them wyverns to crawl itself through if it's slunk down real low like, but the great hall entrances once they would have stood at least 30 feet. They were big doors even for titans, but the rubble has closed most of the way.
So I could, if we get inside, I could create a door and bar us in if we're worried about anything coming in at us if we go inside of the tomb. Or I could technically trap things inside.
Well, sounds like we're going to be fighting pretty soon.
All right, what do you say then? He says, should I have me and the boys approach from a different angle and try to lure the wyverns out? Maybe the lot of you can get in behind them, take the entrance, help us deal with the wyverns. There's a lot of moving parts, but we need to do something quicker than later.
I guess the question is it worth it? Because if you just draw off the wyverns and we go in there, eventually the wyverns are going to come back because they're expecting that's where their friends will be. So
not if we kill them.
Well, I guess then why don't we just kill the wyverns?
Well, if they draw them out of the tomb itself, and then we just, come around from a different angle and block the entrance, and then we will, in theory, have them surrounded.
You have more time in battle than I do. I'll yield to your judgment.
He says, all right, what did you see as far as a route of approach? And I think Landry and Hester are both like, well, there's two ways. And they start like describing, and like rocks are getting moved, right? They kind of like set up a kind of rough, like, oh yeah, this is what it looks like. Like, we're pretty sure you'd be able to like get in here. And so he's like, well, it looks like there's two approaches then. He says the main pass leading up from the south and another from the western side, a bit of a rock tumbled slope. He says, I can bring the host of Melot up over on the west and drop down in if you think that's worth. He says, we'll at least be able to get the wyvern on the ground with eyes on us. Maybe by the time you lot come racing up, we'll be able to deal with it before the second one drops out of the sky. From there, we'll have to improvise.
Yeah.
Okay.
What of your wee friend then? He like gestures over to Lothar.
Well, I guess he's coming with us to fight.
Yep.
Lothar, like seeing you all looking at him, comes like walking over nervously. He's like, I don't want to put my nose where it doesn't belong, but are we going then?
Yeah.
All right. All together?
Sort of.
All right.
I just look at Lothar and I go, this is the point where you can not come with us if you choose not to. If you don't want to be there, then don't be there.
I don't want to be in any of these places, but honestly, I figure dying gloriously in battle with you has to be better than starving to death in this mountain, right?
Oh.
Or waiting until one of those six-legged cats comes and eats me while I'm sleeping.
Well, do you have a lot of experience in mountains?
No.
Then you'll probably freeze to death first. Don't worry about any of that.
They say that that's a peaceful way to go, so I might be making the wrong choice here, but like, I guess to battle. He raises his fist, like, all right.
All right.
All right.
Okay. And so I think Beaudry is just like, he's like, pack up light for fighting. Bring your armor, bring your weapons, leave the gear here. Everybody, water, rations, enough for 2 days in case you get isolated. Remember the route back. Walk light, tread easy, no rock tumbles under your heels. No silhouettes, no skylining on the hills. He's like shouting out orders. They're like, and like, we see like Landry and Hester putting their armor back on. War picks are getting snatched up. Dwarves like unstrapping shields from packs. They're all kind of like shoving their stuff up underneath this sort of overhang. A bunch of them like already moving rocks to kind of conceal the equipment from anybody that may come by. And so Beaudry like takes you, Ulrich and Angus. He's kind of like specifically showing you two like the approach on the ground. Like, we'll be coming down over this way. If you follow this trail, then this, and then it comes up. You cannot miss the stairs, And so, just like that, the lot of you all begin pressing again. So
I'm not talking to plants.
I mean, I think you can, but
I think we're out of time. Regardless, we need to do something now.
Angus looks sad.
Sorry, Angus.
Hold on. I need 1 minute. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Poor Angus. Okay. We got these guys over here.
Checking two things. Bardic Inspiration lasts 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Motivational Speech lasts an hour.
Well, and your Bardic Inspiration is kind of like, it's a bonus action, isn't it?
It is, and Motivational Speech takes like a minute. What I'm just saying is like doing it before we...
Angus monologuing as we walk.
Well, I want to make sure we're... Are we still a half mile? Or...
Yeah, you're about a half mile. You guys all can like start walking. I think we imagine your group starts walking. You get back to where the campsite was that you had this whole fight the night before, and you split up from there. Some of the dwarves all like heading up so that they can approach from this kind of eastern flank, as it were, and a lot of you circling around to come in underneath.
When we get a little bit closer, so how many dwarves are with us? I'm assuming it's us for Lothar.
It's you four and Lothar. I think it's just going to be the five of you as a separate group, and then Beaudry's taking all the dwarves in the other group.
Yeah, they're gonna kind of go in there first.
Then, before we split ways, Angus is going to deliver a motivational speech.
Okay, what's that sound like?
My friends, we have a battle for us. There's dwarves and gnomes attacking together like siblings against the wyverns and the dragons of the dynasty. Let us not fall in battle. But let us battle until we fall. Luckily, the words I'm saying right now don't really matter as much as the magic that's woven into them. For all you know, I could be reciting a recipe that involves the pie that I make with these wonderful peach-sized blackberries. But now that a minute has been spent in me just talking to you, you are motivated to go into battle.
I think one of the dwarves, it's probably Bindle, he's like, I love pie! Ah! You know, like,
Ask not what Vala can do for you. Ask what you can do for Vala.
So, Crixus, Hulric, and Eerie, and Lothar, and Beaudry, right?
Yeah, Beaudry.
All gain 5 temporary hit points and advantage on saving throws for the next hour.
Awesome.
I look at Beaudry and I go, he must have been writing that while he was playing that horn. That's the only reason, the only way I can understand.
I don't get the 5 temporary hit points. So, yeah, and like once if you're hit, you get advantage on your next attack.
Nice. Is that once or?
Well, it technically goes until your temporary hit points are gone.
Cool.
Which with 5 temporary hit points is probably just a single blow. But I can if I'm able to cast this at higher levels, you get more hit points, and there's actually the potential that the spell would last longer. So.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. Let's hope we get higher levels.
Okay.
Thank you, Kurt.
So with that, the 5 of you separate off from the dwarves, and I think the dwarves like clap you on the shoulders and on the elbows as they go. Angus, like, that was a fine speech, much better than the cowbell, you know. And I think that a few of them like stop in front of you, Crixus, and they like say, they give you a couple of various like thanks, you know. Like Emmett is just like, I just want to say, if we don't make it out of this, thank you for giving me a chance to fight and die alongside me family. I do not know what you are, but I'm glad to have met you.
I give them all hugs and I say, no one's going to fall.
Nah, of course not.
Well,
but just in case I do, here's a bag of candy. You seem to really like it more than any of me cousins.
I snatch it away very quickly.
Like,
I'll keep this safe for you.
Hopefully I can teach you the recipe.
Ooh.
So with that, the dwarves separate, heading up over this rise as you guys work your way around to the south, you know. And so it's about 40 minutes or so from there. Even though it's only a quarter mile, you guys are moving out and around. You're moving anything but like in a straight line, right? To situate yourself. And eventually, like, you're coming down off of this ridge, and you could see what amounts to the clearest thing to a road that you have seen since you all like left Erkengard, right? These huge flagstones that appear to be like 6 or 7 feet across, kind of in this clear pathway that is cut right out of the side of the mountain. These steps leading upward in this winding path. And you all are trying to like time things as best you can, but nobody has watches. It's not like you have great communication devices to relay back and forth with Bindle, you know. So I think as you guys are coming up the stairs, like a shadow swoops over you, and your eyes dart to the sky, and you see the wyvern, its gaze like fixed away from you, and you hear it like shriek high in the air, and you hear a second shriek like echoed from higher up the mountain. And I think that like you all have to start to like run, right? The 5 of you start to run, and it's not like but a few heartbeats after that you hear this like soft yell in the wind, right? For Vala! And like the echoes of like these dwarves, and you all like are coming racing up this path at this point. At which point you see you like come up this final kind of step, as it were, and you're racing down this main thoroughfare, and you see the sight of like this statue of this dwarf. He's holding a warhammer with the head down on the ground and holding on to like the haft of it here near his chest. And the statue itself is probably like 40 feet tall and somewhere in the range of like 15 to like maybe 20 feet wide. It's so broad, this like massive armored dwarf kind of standing here, right? And so you see the wyvern like in the air, like flying away from you as the dwarves are like kind of now like pouring down off this hillside, and they're kind of like out of sight as they drop down in behind this sort of cliff's edge to your right. And as you look up, you can see the kind of weathered, broken statues of like additional these dwarven like almost sentinels up on this ridge to your right and left, as you're like heading through this second like crevasse. The walls here are like 20 feet up to the like flat ground above. And as you guys are here, I'm gonna say let's have you roll initiative.
Oh, but I don't wanna.
I don't wanna. Oh, that was Kurt's initiative. Can I roll Angus's?
We're gonna just keep it like this for now. Hallrick, as you're like racing up, this wyvern that was like had flown over you, it's basically dropping down out of the air, right? Almost at like this vertical freaking dive. Like while it's closing the dwarf, it's got its back to you, but you're gonna be able to act first on 16. Is this everybody? I got all of you, yeah. Hallrick, you're up on 16. What would you like to do?
How high is the base of the statue? Is it something I could take shelter behind? Like if it's a 50-foot tall statue?
Yeah. So like the base, there's like the base itself is probably about like 6 feet, the second tier, right? There's like this lower edge and then kind of like a higher edge above it, right?
So I would imagine on the approach I saw this guy off to the left over here. So I'm going to come up in case they have a bow, and I'm just going to put myself in the shadow of the statue. And I am going to fire 2 arrows at the wyvern while it drops.
Go for it. So the short bow rolls up. You pull back the brand new string, having just restrung it. 24 and 24 both hit. Nice. The arrows like these dwarven arrows sailing free. That's 17 points of damage. We hear the wyvern like as these like arrows hammer into its flank. That's Hallrick's action. Movement bonus action, anything like that?
I'm gonna move up 1 and no, I'm just gonna stand my ground.
Okay, cool. Crixus, you're up on 15. As you guys are running up, you see these couple of sentries. You basically can catch sight of this one that's really far away over here on your left. Let me actually change this so that folks can see our map. I always forget that part. You can kind of see the one sentry that's like up in the kind of northwest corner just left of the statue. But as you're charging up, like the line of sight is being blocked by this statue. Then there's obviously the wyvern dwarves way over here. What would you like to do, Crixus?
I'm actually going to hold my action. Crixus is not going to do anything, really.
What are you holding it for?
I am waiting for the wyverns to move, as well as... Do I see anybody of those guys, those scouts, or no? Those other people?
Yeah, you see this guy that's over here in the like upper left, right? You can specifically see him. These couple on the stairs are blocked by the statue. You don't see them.
But I do see the wyverns, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Flying above.
This one is flying and it's dropping down out of the sky. The other one is actually on the ground, and it looks like it just kind of like woke up from sleeping almost as the dwarves are screaming down off the hill.
Where's the wyvern dropping down from? Like, where can I don't know.
It was flying this way. It came flying from behind you, high in the air towards the dwarves, and it's now like dropping from altitude down out of the air, right? It's got like its back to you, flying towards the dwarves.
What I'm doing, I'm waiting for him to drop. I'm waiting for that wyvern to drop down, and then I'm going to do something.
What are you gonna do? It just matters because if you're holding a spell, like you burn the spell slot if you don't
I'm just
cast
gonna
it.
attack him, I guess.
Okay. Eerie, what are you doing on 14?
I am going to. Right. I'm gonna scooch over a little bit so I can try and see. Are the guys on the steps? Can I see any like what type of weapons they're holding?
Yeah, so you see that they have swords at their belts. They're like long spears leaning up against the stairs next to them, and they all have bows.
Yeah, bows. Okay. I'm
lying. They have crossbows. They have heavy crossbows.
Okay, gotcha. Do I just go for it? Yeah, Eerie's gonna also hold.
For what? Doing what?
See if they the guys move closer. Just if they even take like just a step. Just a step.
And what are you going to do if they take a step?
I am going to cast Fireball.
You're going to cast Fireball if any of these guards move. Okay. Yeah. It matters because you will, like, burn Fireball if they don't do that. Like, if you ready a spell and then, like, the trigger doesn't go off, you still cast the spell. I guess it's, like, relevant to point that out. Okay. 12. This wyvern goes. The first one like leaps up and just comes like crashing into the wall of dwarves who are like swarming over one of these soldiers over here, and the dwarves are like, ah! They're all like surging around it, right? Beaudry kind of like yelling as dwarves kind of hitting it. This one circles wildly, and it proceeds to like pump its wings once, and it flies up over here, and then it just drops down in and literally like stabs at Ulrich with the stinger.
Ooh.
That's a critical one. It proceeds to like land on this cliffside. It's like in this awkward spot. Its claws kind of grabbing a hold of this cliff's edge as the stinger like punches out at you, Ulrich. And I think a bunch of the rock and rubble gives way, and it kind of falls here to the ground where it's laying prone, but it still tries to make its second attack and bite you on the way down. 25, that hits. So it gets a piece of you, Ulrich, for 9 points of piercing damage. Right, okay. But it tumbles down to the ground where it's laying prone. Crixus, you were holding your action for what? This wyvern has moved. What would you want to do?
I was going to attack it and attack it with. Obviously, I was going to attack it with a weapon, and the weapon of choice would be a sling.
Okay, go for it. Make an attack roll.
And
Woo!
Okay, hits. For 3 points of bludgeoning damage. The rock like planks off of it. It's prone, but it's massive, so I'm not going to say you have disadvantage attacking it. Like, it's rolling around, flailing all over the place. I think your rock like hammers into it. We hear one of the scales like crack in front of you, Ulrich. That was the wyvern's turn. These guys go on 10. Yeah, these two are just like firing their crossbows into the mass of dwarves. And I think this guy, like seeing you coming, he's going to shoot the crossbow at you, Eerie.
Okay.
So, yeah. What's your AC? That misses. You just like duck as like the crossbow bolt flies over your head, ricocheting off the wall behind you. This guy is like surrounded by dwarves. He's swinging his sword madly. Angus, you're up on 8.
Angus is going to cast Phantasmal Force on the wyvern.
Oh, wow. And the one that's on Ulrich, I presume.
Yeah, it's the only one within range. It has to make a DC 15 intelligence save, or it falls prey to a very realistic illusion.
Nice.
Yeah. it badly fails its saving throw, which means that it treats the phantoms as if it were real. It takes psychic damage this round.
It says that each round on my turn it can deal. Yeah. So from
1d6 psychic damage.
From behind this dwarven statue comes a young bronze dragon.
Oh wow! Okay.
Flapping around and tussling with the wyvern, doing 4 points of psychic damage.
Okay, the wyvern is like rolling around on the floor screaming, and suddenly it's like no longer trying to get you, Ulrich, as it's like biting and snapping, its tail flinging madly. It's like flat on its back, as though there's something on top of it, like gnawing away at Angus. I've seen this
before, right?
You have, yes. Angus, that's your action. You have movement and a bonus action.
Movement. Angus will move to here.
Okay, you come like charging up next to the statue as we're watching this guard, like as he sees you, like he's turning his head, darting between you and the dwarves. Angus, that's your turn. Okay. Yep.
And as a bonus action, he's going on his way to where he's standing now. He uses his bardic inspiration, and he's like, one moment, let me pull up my app. He's like, Ulrich, friend, you got this.
The war horn blowing, Ulrich. You are hyped as Angus inspires you. Lothar goes at the top of the round. He's just like, I love killing these wyverns. I gotta be honest with you guys. And he shoots his bow twice at this wyvern. The 20 actually hits an arrow sinking into the thing for 7 points of damage as it's like flailing around out of control on the ground. Ulrich, you're up on 16.
Oh, man. I am going to try and take out the guards with the crossbows since this guy seems occupied, because I'm concerned about the dwarves and the crossbows. So I am going to move over. And, right, it was not melee with me, right?
It definitely was. I'm just trying to look to see like how consumed it is by this illusion, because it's still like flailing around. I think it does still get it.
Okay, then I'm not going to move. Like if it's not, doesn't seem totally engrossed with what's going on, then I'm not going to move. Can I use my bonus? Can I switch out?
Sorry.
Can I switch out from the bow?
Yes, you can stow your bow as your free action. Bonus action, you pull out what?
Warhammer and shield.
You got it. Warhammer and shield are out. Go for it.
All right. 2 attacks.
That is a 9 and a 14. That's a miss and a hit.
Nice. 8.
Whoa, what is that sound? 8. That's 39 points of damage. Bam! You like smash down into this thing. Scales cracking as the hammer connects. It's like still consumed with something else, but like the tail is everywhere, right? It's flailing around wildly. This huge like scorpion stinger on the end of it, like swinging at you. Ulrich, that's your action. That's your bonus action. You're gonna hold your ground, right?
If it gets an attack, then yeah, I'm gonna hold.
Okay, Crixus, you're up on 15.
I'm going to use Magic Stone as a bonus action, and I'm going to aim for the crossbow person that Angus was heading toward. And I miss. I guess.
9 is totally a miss, yep.
And then I guess I'm going to move to right over here by the statue.
Okie doke. That's Crixus. Eerie, you're up on 14.
Yep. So my trigger didn't happen, so just lose a second level spell slot?
You said fireball, so I think it's a 3rd level spell slot.
It is 3rd level. Sorry, that's what I meant. I'm looking at the 2 because I have 2 spell slots.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. It was stupid of me. I should have just cast it when I could
It
have
wasn't
gotten
stupid
a
of
bunch
you,
them.
but it is a thing. Like when you're readying the spell, right? Like it's a thing that like I've been like, so Lex days go bad. I never really care, but yeah, it happened to me in a game recently, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess that's a technicality. Anyway,
Yeah.
yes, I'm sorry.
It's fine. Just
I think it's
so
like
stupid of me.
Eerie being like, I don't want to kill people. Oh, I have to kill people. Like, I don't know what exactly your intention was there, but...
Well, I had, like, the 2 wyverns, and I should have just let it go when I had them there. But I didn't. So,
Fireball's tricky, because you always want to, like, find a better way to cast it.
Yeah.
And, like, when you got a good one, you just got to go with
Yeah.
it, you know? Like, it rarely gets more perfect as the battle plays out, you know?
So, okay, so the dwarves have a wyvern, and we have a wyvern.
Yeah, the dwarves are swarming a wyvern and one of the veterans that are over here. And the dwarves are all like, the couple in the back are shooting with their crossbows and stuff. The rest of them are just like swarming up on it. The wyvern like roaring, Beaudry Ironstave like calling for miracles from Vala.
Okay. I'm going to cast Shatter at the 2 guards that are standing in front of the door.
Shatter it is. Con saves. We hear this like peeling, cracking explosion. They both fail their saving throws, taking 15 points of damage each. Oops. Why did I do that? We hear them kind of like screaming as they're like, ah! This like explosion kind of peels off on them. Eerie, that's your action.
Yeah, that's it. I'll move like up a smidge, but
okay. The wyvern in front of you, Halric, is attacking the illusion, which is not really there. The other wyvern hammering into dwarves. The veterans go. This guy, having seen you just like cast that spell, is going to fire at you, Eerie, with the heavy crossbow. As he falls back, 22, I think, hits. He's like falling back up into here. Eerie, you take 9 points of piercing damage as this massive crossbow bolt sails past you, Angus, and like hammers into your little gnomish sister. These 2 on the stairs, one of them like fires into the dwarf. The other one, seeing you coming up next to the statue, is going to take a shot at you, Angus. 20!
Hey, did one of the wyverns die?
No, both of them actually just multiplied. Now there's 2 more wyverns. Angus, this crossbow bolt freaking hammers into, like, I think that it hits you in the gut. It like plunges through your armor and like just like lodges itself like in your abdomen, just kind of above your hip at the lower part of your stomach. And you're like this nightmarish pain kind of like lancing through you as you take 19 points of piercing damage. Like staggering back a little as you hold your feet, and he just kind of drops the tip of the crossbow, and you see him raise a horn to his mouth, like, no, it doesn't sound like that, but he's like blowing this war horn, like, right, while the other veterans are like frantically reloading their weapons, and I think you'll hear from the sky this like terrible scream. Angus, you're up on 8.
I made my concentration save. For 21.
You sure did.
The wyvern takes 6 points of psychic damage.
Got it.
Where's the map? Oops. So, fructose. Yeah, that hurt.
It was a big shot.
Yeah.
It's like serious damage I just rolled right there.
Angus is going to double back and join alongside Hulric and attack the wyvern.
Okay, we see you like moving backwards, darting past Crixus around the back of this statue. So what do you use your bonus action to stow your bow and then draw your sword?
I didn't have a bow out.
Oh, true. Yeah. You just were casting spells. Got it. My bad. So the sword snaps out. You step in next to Hulric. Go for it. Oh, I think you like stumble a bit on the rock, you know, you like almost like fall to a knee, like blood, like the pain lancing through your gut, but you manage to hold on to the sword. Bonus action. 18 hits.
9 piercing.
9. Hulric, Angus looks like hurt, man. As he comes up next to you, you see like the bright crimson blood kind of like literally dripping off of his leg, like into the ground. Like he like almost takes a bad spill, but manages to like regroup, driving the sword down into the wyvern. We hear the thing like scream again. It's like the wings are flailing wildly. Angus, that's your action. That's your bonus action, right?
Yep. Well, there's no bonus action in there. I'm just not taking one.
Potion?
The second attack with the
you're right.
sword.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. It's at this point you guys hear like this terrible scream from the sky. Does anybody here speak Draconic?
I do.
Yes.
Hey, Eerie and Crixus, I think you hear, like, after this scream, all of you hear this, like, this voice, like, rumbling through the air. But Eerie and Crixus, you understand it when you hear it. Like, he said you would come. You are fools to validate him. And as you turn, you see like swooping down low, just over the top of like the mountain ridge off to your west, there is, in fact, a rather intimidating looking blue-scaled dragon. The wings like powerful, like cutting through the air. They tuck back in behind it as it like is just racing low over the tops of the mountains. This art is by Antonio J. Manzanato. I'll put the link to his art station in the notes after the show. But he's very cool to allow us to kind of use that here. And so yeah, you see this dragon like sweeping over the tops of the mountain, coming from behind. Bear with me 1 second. I just want to do one thing so this is not in the name. I guess I could change it, but whatever. Okay, got it. Lothar's up on 19. He like wheels behind him like, oh, we're gonna die. And yeah, he proceeds to like turn, looking back at the wyvern, and he's like, I'm not gonna be the first one to shoot that thing. And he puts 2 arrows at the wyvern as he comes like running forward towards you guys. That's a miss. That's a hit for 3 points of piercing damage, like meaningless kind of glancing blow. And he comes like racing forward, tucking himself in next to Crixus like, we've got problems. Hulric, you're up on 16.
I can use my full movement to make my way around to the other side.
You sure
which
can.
May not be a great idea, but we're going to do it. And as I come running around, hearing the noise from above, I'm just like, I got this thing. 2 attacks with the Warhammer.
The Warhammer snapping and spinning in this one-handed grip. 18 hits. 20 hits also. You're flanking, sure.
Yeah.
7 and 6, that's 13 points of damage altogether. This thing is starting to like look a bit hurt, right? There's like cracked scales all over the place, a couple of arrows kind of protruding, blood pooling up around them. Hulric, that's your movement, that's your action. Bonus, anything like that?
Nah, we're gonna wait. I just Hold my ground.
Okay. So,
how are the dwarves doing?
they're managing. They're like hacking away. Oh yeah.
Does it look worse than our wyvern? Please. There's a lot of them.
I better.
Yeah, they're like hammering away. It looks in pretty bad shape. The dragon like it goes silent, its voice no longer echoing, and it just kind of drops like a stone suddenly as its wings fold in behind its back. It's like plummeting down, and at the last second they kind of snap out, and it's just right between these two statues, Crixus, Lothar, Halric. I'm gonna have all of you guys make dexterity saving throws.
You said the base of this thing's like 8 feet tall, which is 3 feet tall.
It is, yeah. You're right. It totally is. I'm still gonna have you guys make that saving throw. I think it's about to blast away the whole base of the statue.
What does your speech give again?
5 hit
Angus?
points.
But
5
wasn't
hit
it
points, wisdom saving throws. Wisdom
saving throws?
So dex save.
Yeah, you have advantage on the dexterity saving throw, Halric.
Oh, thanks. That's awesome.
just wisdom saving throws.
Okay.
And then I need my man here. Okay, the dragon is like, it takes in this deep, rasping breath. You guys see like static and electricity kind of like darting around its mouth as like this cackling explosion of lightning just proceeds to burst out of its mouth.
Hey, Rich, I have a question.
Yes.
I have 2 questions, actually.
Sure.
The blue dragon goes before me, I gather, because that's 15.1, or are we going at the same time?
What's your dexterity?
20.
So technically you go at 15.2.
No, it's a dexterity of 12.
15.12.
Yep, it goes before you.
Wait, is it to have a dex of 10?
What?
15.12. Does it have a dex of 10?
No.
Oh.
I have another question, Rich.
Yes.
That's the first question. Since it's hitting Hulric, does it also hit the Wyvern too?
Fear not. Good question.
Just curious.
Fear not. It proceeds to unload this lightning breath. Where did I just go? I just lost my dice roller.
Shit, then it didn't do anything.
Then it didn't do anything.
It didn't do anything.
Okay, Crixus, you take 16 points of lightning damage. You have any resistance?
No.
Okay. Crixus, you take 16 points of lightning damage, as does Lothar. The statue base explodes. Halric, you take a full 32 points of damage between the rubble and the lightning that bursts through, as does the wyvern.
Well, I was going to ask you if I get cover bonus to dexterity saving throw.
I gave you advantage on the dexterity saving throw because of the statue. But the statue base explodes, and the whole thing now is like... and it's like tipping and falling slowly over. It has not like quite entirely collapsed, but like it's about to fall. The wyvern is like blasted pretty badly. The dragon, meanwhile, is gonna continue its movement. Right, yeah, it's such a pain in the ass, this thing. Okay. It like comes flying up over you all, like circling around the edge of the statue up to like here. It's still about 20 feet in the air. That's its turn. Crixus, you're up.
I'm going to cast Mass Healing Word.
Okay.
And it's I get everybody gets healed.
Just your crew of 5 over here in the corner, right?
That is correct.
Okay, so everybody gets 6 hit points back.
Thanks, Crixus.
Thank you. Hit points just went up 50%. What?
And this I also have a movement action or no?
Yeah, I mean, it's your turn.
I was just curious, the way the dragon is positioned, is there any way to get cover behind this statue at all from the
Statue's gone.
Oh, the statue's completely destroyed?
The base of it has
No.
been blown out. Like, I want you to imagine this whole like diagonal on the edge of it has
So
just
it
been
fell?
like decimated. It's
So wait a minute.
falling. It is in the process of falling.
Can I ask you a question? Is where's the direction of the statue falling then?
It's falling this way.
Oh my god. All right.
It looks like it's about to like teeter over on top of Ulrich and the Wyvern on the ground. Like it's literally like this is all within the 6-second increment, right? So like the base of it explodes out. Ulrich is like blasted by lightning and rubble. The Wyvern catches all the same. It's like still flailing, fighting with this illusory dragon that nobody could see but it. The dragon like flies over the statue. The statue is in the process of like falling, right?
Okay.
So yeah, you have movement, and that's still your regular action. Like, isn't Mass Healing Word a bonus action spell?
Yeah. Yes. I'm like kind of like shocked by this turn of events.
Yeah, I'm freaked out.
Yeah, I'm kind of freaked out by this. If that's the case, geez Louise, I'm really scared. That really didn't do so much, but I guess what I'm gonna do is, can I technically cast another spell or no? How does that work?
Yep. We always let you cast 2 spells. Yep.
Yes, that's
as
right.
As long as one's a bonus action, you're in good shape.
All right, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast my Dragon Maul Bolt at the dragon itself.
Got it.
And I'm also going to cast it at a higher level.
Okay, what level are you casting it at?
Doesn't matter. I missed. The only one level higher, so it doesn't matter. Whatever. I lost it. Tried, folks. Oh well.
You fire, and the bolt deflects off of the dragon's scales. To no avail. I'm sorry. So that's a 3rd level spell slot. You have your movement.
Would 16 hit, Rich?
Nope.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna move over here by Angus.
Because he has advantage from the motivational speech, Angus. Is that what's up, right?
Well, I don't know if you consider the damage from the falling statue being damage from an attack.
No, I got it.
He get hit with a lightning breath. Yeah, that was definitely an attack. Yeah.
I lost like a lot of points of damage.
I forgot it was a mix of lightning and statue. I thought it was just statue.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I asked this. Yeah, but so your benefit is gone now.
So you come darting around back here by behind Angus, which brings us to Eerie. You are up.
Gosh, I'm so stressed.
That's good. Blue dragon.
Blue dragon. Gosh, do I just go for it? You said it was 20 feet in the air.
Yeah, it's about 20 feet off the ground. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, why would I wait? That screwed me last time. I'm gonna cast Fireball again.
Everyone run!
Getting the dragon and the 3 that are near the door.
And all of these chumps, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okie dokie. Dragon saving throws. So we what do we see here, Eerie, as your fireball goes off?
She's like panicking, and she does her little like maybe a few times, like she does her like baseball swing with her staff, but like she misses like the little ball of fire, the little pinpoint of light, and finally she hits it and it sails and explodes.
Excellent. I love it. You just like bing. You finally clip it. The veterans mostly suck and fail their saving throws, getting like boom. boom. The dragon saves, taking 13, as does this guy. Okay, cool. This like explosion of fire just rolls off. The dragon like shrieks, and I think it growls back at you like, "Oh, you think you're a wizard, do you, gnome? Like, we taught you that magic." What did you do? 27? Oof. A couple of these guys look pretty hurt.
Okay.
Eerie, that was your turn. The wyverns go. This one here is still completely occupied by the illusion. The other one fighting dwarves. The veterans are like pretty well screwed up. This guy is firing into the dwarves. This one, he's still got perfect sight on you here, Eerie. I didn't ask you if you were going to move, but you also didn't tell me you were going to move. So now I feel awkward about trying to shoot you again.
Yeah, I didn't say it. Like, retroactively, of course, it would have moved, like, behind the statue.
I think I have to,
we're
right?
already past
Okay.
that.
Nice.
10.
We're
The
already
freaking
past it.
crossbow bolt deflects off the stone above you. This other guy who just almost murdered Angus with his nightmare shot, he fires at you as well because you just threw a fireball into his face.
Fair enough.
That misses as well. Like, the crossbow bolt deflects off the stone in front of you. This dude is like shooting into dwarves. The other wyverns are occupied. Angus, you're up on 8.
Angus drinks a healing potion.
Yeah, good call. Bonus action, healing potion.
Oh, it's just a bonus action.
Yeah, sure it is.
That's why I said last round.
House
Yeah.
rules. Bonus action is a healing potion for yourself. It's an action to give it to somebody else. House rules. I don't care about the cantrip and the leveled spell thing. If a spell is a bonus action, you can cast another spell of any level as your action, provided it's an action casting time. But like, I don't care about the cantrip thing.
Hey,
He's wondering
recap.
if what he drank was from the faulty robe or from Crixus, because it only gave him 5 hit points.
Hey, is that statue in the middle of falling towards us? Is
Yeah.
that what's happening right now? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, 100%. Yes.
Yeah.
Put that on the table.
Does Angus feel is he in the strike zone?
Yeah, I think so. Because, like, we have to imagine this whole corner is sheared off, right? So it's kind of like going this way. Now, it's pretty tall, so the head will probably catch here. Like, it might not crush you, you know?
Okay. I'm going to
This is a
attack
game,
my short
but-
sword quickness. 23.
Hits.
9 points of piercing. And then he will move.
Okay.
What's Lothar? Has Lothar been doing anything?
Yeah, Lothar's been shooting the hell out of this wyvern.
He's putting the remaining base of the statue. Like he's up against the base of the statue, so that
Okay. You come like darting around here, like next to Lothar. Boom. End of the round. The statue falls. Ulrich, I'm going to have you make another dex saving throw. The wyvern is
Ulrich.
completely like consumed and unable to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, the wyvern takes 3 points of psychic damage.
That kills the wyvern, actually. The wyvern is like screaming, it like is flailing around on the ground, and suddenly like it starts like coughing up blood out of its nostrils and its teeth. Ulrich, the statue falls. You take 9 points of bludgeoning damage as you're like kind of pulling yourself out of the way, and like chunks of rock are falling off of it. You're not crushed completely because of the angle that it falls at, but suffice to say it does like hang up on the edge of this lip, right? So it's just kind of like perched there at this big angle, this kind of like the wyvern's corpse filling up most of the space underneath it. The dwarves are all going nuts. Lothar goes on 19. He proceeds to like dart underneath the statue. He's going to take 2 shots at this dragon.
Oh,
He's,
well, he's chosen his
horrified.
side.
They both miss, and he's like, son of a, and then he comes like darting back over here. That's Lothar's turn. Ulrich, you're up on 16.
Oh, can I get back under this statue or no?
You can crawl. Like, the wyvern's going to be basically difficult terrain. You can make your way back here, but it will take you 20 feet to, like, climb over the wyvern's dead body.
Well, you said it was propped up over here, so I guess the question is, could I run around and pass under here? It's kind of what I'm looking at.
I mean, sure, that's how you got here to begin with. It's the same difference. It'll take you 20 feet to get there or 20 feet to get here, whichever you want to do.
All right, then I'm going to go straight over the top and Jesus.
It's a bad scene.
What's that?
It's a bad scene.
Yeah. When I'm on the top of this statue that's down, if I move to like here on top of the statue, if I throw my warhammer down here, can I pull out my bow and fire?
Yeah, for sure.
Bonus action.
Yeah. I think the idea here is like, so the statue is pitched, right? And the issue is like the wyvern's underneath it, right? Mm-hmm. So like it's if you want to climb over the statue, I guess you could. But yeah, you could throw your warhammer down at the ground next to Angus and like pull your bow. Go for it.
So from the top of the statue, I'm going to fire 2 arrows at the blue dragon.
Excellent. We see Ulrich like hook the hammer up on the statue. He like pulls himself up. You're like standing on the hip of Gural Khan. You throw the warhammer down like dang, 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 dang as it like lands next to you, Angus, and like you snap an arrow out. Ulrich, go for it. Oh, you just did. Oh no, that's Lothar. Go for it.
So you hear him say, "Erkengard!" and he fires 2 arrows.
Come on.
And then he uses his action surge.
Right.
And fires 2 more arrows.
Come on.
Okay, 26 and 25 both hit.
All right.
Nice. 19 points of damage. We see these arrows come like sailing off the top of the statue. Like one of them, I think, like rips right through the side of like the dragon's cheek, right? And we hear like this like arc of lightning kind of bursts around its face. The second one like plunges into a seam along the scales here up near like its breastbone, right? Like red blood now kind of like streaming down the pale sort of blue of this thing's breastplate. Ulrich, that's your action. That's your action surge. You have the rest of your movement.
I'm going to climb down this side, and I'm going to drink a potion with my bonus action.
And so you're like, you drop down onto the ground, bow clutched in one hand, warhammer at the ground at your feet, and you yank this potion that Eerie just gave you off your belt, like pulling the cork and guzzling it down, 2d4 plus 2.
Yeah, I'm just pulling it off my sheet real quick.
Yep.
Roll it here in 1 second. Let's see. So 6 for 8.
Yeah, it sure is. So I think we see the dragon like it like roars, and then it just like growls again in Draconic, like you are fools to bring your kin here to die, dwarf. I will start with you. And like you don't understand that, but Eerie and Crixus, you catch every word. And it proceeds to leap up onto the broken statue of Gural Khan. The statue base like crumbling more, rock tumbling down next to you, Crixus, as like the top of it is kind of digging into this cliffside up here, and it is going to attack you two. Yeah, what do we got? It tries to bite you, Ulrich. You no longer have your shield out.
I know.
Okay.
Wouldn't matter anyway.
It wouldn't, I guess. This is going to hurt.
Yep.
Well, remember you have your Bardic Inspiration. You could add a D8 to your AC.
Oh, that's a really good point. You can.
Okay.
What's your AC?
17.
Oh, yeah, then that's not going to matter.
Nope. So you take 17 points of piercing damage and 7 lightning as this thing, like, grabs you. You drop?
Yeah.
Okay. Ulrich drops, at which point it swings a claw at you, Angus. 19?
Yeah,
Yeah?
well, that's a hit.
for 16 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
And it's going to make its final attack with its second claw. It hesitates for a moment, not sure if it should just exterminate the dwarf. But as it's eyeing the lot of you, it decides, like, nope, it needs to try to kill the minotaur that's standing here first.
Ooh.
Oh my god, that was scary. That's a 20. That hits. Right?
25?
11 points of slashing damage. Yeah, 25.
Okay.
That's 27 on you, Angus. This dragon's a problem. It is now closed in range with you guys. Crixus, you're up on 15. Ulrich is down. Angus is badly, badly hurt. Eerie, you're up.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry, Crixus, you're up.
I mean, like, I guess so, right? I mean, it
Go,
is.
Crixus, please go.
I mean, like, there goes. I was gonna have a joke, but forget the joke. I think we already know what's going on. All right, so I'm gonna move up, and I'm going to heal Ulrich.
Okay.
At a second level casting.
Cure wounds, second level. You like grab Ulrich, whispering a prayer to your father. Ulrich, you have 13 hit points. Your eyes open.
Wait. You gotta give me some. Yeah, you gotta be. I don't. Let me finish, Rich. So like I put my hands on Ulrich and I say, Roldo, heal Ulrich, bring him back so he can fight the gallant fight. And then with a bonus action, I take a healing potion and I pour it down his throat as well.
Nice.
It's an action to feed it to somebody else. I'm really
Oh,
sorry. That's what I was
that's
saying
right.
before. Bonus action for you, action for somebody else.
That's true.
I apologize.
No. That's cool.
Okay.
Oh, then I get. Oh my god. All right, so I then. All right, that's it for me, I guess. Pretty much. That's what that I'm. Oh, you know what? Oh man.
Healing word.
How is? Yeah, it's not.
Everybody's fucked.
Don't say that. No. Don't give in. Don't give in.
All right, I'll do a healing. I'll do a heal. Oh my goodness gracious, we're like not doing so well.
Nope.
I'm gonna do a healing word on Eerie. How you doing, bud? Oh no, healing word on Angus, and I'm gonna cast it at a higher level, second level, and there we go.
Wow, Angus, you get back another 9 as Crixus calls out a healing word to you.
Cool beans.
Don't spend it all in one place.
I think I might, though.
Yeah.
Eerie. Okay, so Crixus, that was your action. That's your bonus action. That was some of your movement. You have more movement if you would like to reposition.
Jeez Louise. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna move. Hold on a second. How many feet can I move now? I forgot. Like I moved 10 feet to get to this guy, or did I move
Yeah, basically, you were over here right by the edge. You moved 10 feet to get there. Yeah.
So then I'm moving over here in front of Eerie.
Okay, got it.
Or whatever. How far.
Got it. That was Crixus on 15. Eerie, Vandrin, Silver Spark. You're up on 14.
Okay. I am going to look at the dragon and just like, she just shakes her head and she says, "You're not taking us. This is for Ursula." And I will cast Witch Bolt at second level. And it will be radiant damage.
Okay. 15 misses. The radiant like bolt kind of this almost like liquid molten bolt of white fire rolls off the end of your staff, and it just like it hits this dragon and like deflects off of it, right? And we just hear it like, "You have been killing these wyverns. Now you face a true child of Virago." Eerie, that's your action. You have movement and a bonus action.
I guess I'll move back a little bit.
That's your turn?
Yep.
On 12, the dwarves are like roaring as they sweep over the wyvern. The veterans go. They're like firing into the mass of dwarves at this point. One of them, like catching sight of you, Crixus, he's going to take a shot at you from around the edge with his heavy crossbow. 18.
It's a hit.
You take 7 points of piercing damage as he buries a freaking crossbow bolt into you. Angus, you're up on 8.
Is the dragon like within melee?
Yes. I mean, it just clawed you, so for sure.
Go big or go home.
Come on, guys. We can roll better than this.
24?
24 hits.
For 10 points of
Yes.
piercing?
Uh-huh. 12's a miss. You just like you drive up with this short sword, and you like slice right into it's like one of its like claws as it's reaching down for you, right? Like digging badly into it, and then you spin the sword like swinging again, and it easily just like shoves you out of the way almost to no avail. Angus, that's action, bonus action, movement. You gonna stay there?
Does it shove me out of reach?
Nope.
I'm
Good question.
I will position myself. But well, Ulrich is up, right?
Yeah. He will be soon. I mean, it's you, then Lothar, then Ulrich.
Well, if he's still prone. No, I mean like.
Oh yeah. No, they're up.
Is he prone or is he standing?
He's still prone. He's not gotten up yet.
Then Angus is going to position himself between Ulrich and the dragon.
Okay. The dwarves, meanwhile, are like ah! They've like come like screaming up the stairs. They're all charging. Most of these guys are down. There's like a bunch of them coming this way with Beaudry. Like racing. These couple are hanging back. This veteran is dead. They're gonna be, I guess, firing at this dragon. The last couple that are here with their bows. And like crossbow bolts are just like deflecting off of this dragon's hide. One of them like scrapes it a little bit, you know. But Beaudry Ironstave, as he's like racing up, is just like he calls out like "Fire! Blast them!" And he casts Beacon of Hope again. And he'll be able to get all of you, which effectively gives you advantage on your wisdom saving throws. Yep, any number of creatures within range. He's within 30 feet of all of you. Any healing spells cast for the duration are going to be maximum healing.
That's awesome.
Let me double check, actually. Eerie, you're a little further than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he would have been able to move one more space. He's able to get everyone except for you, Eerie. You're too far. But the rest of you guys all have Beacon of Hope, so I'm just going to give you one of these to remind me. That's Beaudry. That's the dwarves. Beaudry actually does one more thing, which is to cast Spiritual Weapon as a bonus action.
Nice.
Priest stuff. Actually, no. Fuck that. He casts Shield of Faith as a bonus action. On you, Ulrich, your armor class goes up by 2 points.
Yes.
You see this like radiant golden light illuminate in front of you, Ulrich, and there's like this translucent golden shield that just has on it like the sort of silhouette of like this golden dragon's head.
Nice.
Right? And it's just floating, interposed between you and this dragon. Lothar goes, he like comes stumbling back here towards you, and he's like, we need to run here, we're all gonna die here. And he shoots twice at the dragon. Oh, Lothar, doing work.
Nice.
Lothar
Love it
puts
when,
2
when
arrows.
instantly when he becomes pessimistic.
Yeah. good things happen. He puts 2 arrows right into like the dragon's face. One of them like right into the thing's mouth. Another one like lances right in like its cheek. Ulrich, you're up on 16. You're prone on the ground. Your warhammer next to you, bow on the other side.
I am going to use my bonus action to drink my last potion.
That's great. You get 10 hit points back.
Yeah, I will take it. And I will pick up my warhammer and shield, and I'm going to make my way around to the other side of the dragon.
You cannot get that far. It takes half your movement for you to get up off the ground, right? Because you're prone.
If he does double move? No.
Yeah, if you're just going to use your action to move, you could.
No, I need to attack it. I can't just not attack it. All right, so we'll go here then.
Okay.
And
is he flanking it with the dead wyvern?
Yeah, that's not helpful though. But you we see you pull yourself up this spectral shield is floating in front of you. 11, 17. Nice. Both miss. I think that you swing in. The first one glances off its scales too hard. The second one is about to connect, and the thing's tail snaps out, kind of cracking into your arm, driving the hammer back away. And it's just turns looking at you you fool. Okay, it doesn't have a breath weapon back. That's your action. That's your bonus action. That's your movement. It goes. Oh boy, you guys. Oh boy. Oh boy.
We're just rolling so bad.
It tries to bite you again, Ulrich, because it really liked that. What's your new armor class?
21. Oh, man. Oh, wait. I still got a D8 I can add.
Yeah, you do. You want to use your Bardic Inspiration?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good. As its mouth, lightning arcing through the thing's mouth as it looms. That's exactly what you needed. Isn't it? Wait, 21?
No, it still hits.
It still hits.
No.
You take 24 points of damage.
Down again.
It rips into you.
-1.
Ulrich stumbles back off of the edge of the thing, the statue, plummeting back to the ground in front of you, Crixus, badly hurt. I think that at this point now, it the dragon proceeds to slash out at you, Angus. 20.
Oh yeah. It's not going to miss me.
Your AC is that low, huh? This might be bad. Yeah. 14, you still up?
No.
Okay. On the second attack, Angus goes down. It grabs Ulrich and just thrashes him and drops him down to the ground. And then we see it rear up, grabbing twice for Angus, and it peers over its shoulder as the rest of this mass of dwarves are sort of surging in, coming towards it, and it leaps up into the air. You guys can't take opportunity attacks against it as it's flying, and it proceeds to circle itself up over.
And because
here.
We're dead.
Yeah. That's what I meant. So it flies over to here, where it slowly begins to rotate in the air. Crixus, you're up on 15.
Yeah. So I guess I'm gonna move up to Ulrich, and I'm going to heal him.
Max heal.
It is a max heal. Who's max heal?
And I'm going to use it at second level.
Okay, so that is actually, in fact, what is your wisdom modifier? +5?
I rolled max anyway on the first one, 8. Oh, my wisdom modifier is, hold on a second.
Just +3, so that should
be... I think it's 3. It's 3, I think.
That should be 19 altogether.
Cool.
One whole attack. Thank you, Crixus.
Ulrich, your eyes open, your hair is your teeth hurt, you're fucking all torn up.
Jesus.
And I guess I'm gonna take I'm gonna use my bonus action to use a healing potion.
Okay, and so you get 10 health back.
Cool. Jeez Louise.
Why aren't we supposed to run inside before all the shit hit the fan?
That was the hope.
There were guys on the door.
There were guys in front of the door. It was a problem. Crixus, that's your action. That's your bonus action. You have a little more movement if you want to reposition Eerie. You're up on 14.
Yep. Like just wasting.
I guess I'm gonna start. I guess I'm gonna start running. Well, I moved like what, 5 feet? Is that fair?
Yeah.
All right, so move. I guess I moved 25 feet this way.
Okay, you're racing it down. Nice. Crixus, bold.
Wait. It's holding on to Angus, correct?
No, Angus is
on the ground
out
right
at the foot
here.
of the statue.
Your buddies are right here.
Sorry.
Yep, no problem.
Then no. I'm sorry. Then I don't even do that. I actually run over to Angus then.
Okay. You like step in front of your fallen friend here. Eerie, Vandra, and Silverspark. You're up on 14. Bad things are happening. I think Lothar is like, we need to go, Eerie. We need to get out of here. They were good friends. We'll remember them.
I will die before I leave my friends.
You're right.
I mean, fuck it. Gotta just go for it, right? Because this is it.
We need to start moving towards the door.
Dragon.
Yeah, this toe-to-toe with the dragon is not working.
No. No, it's pretty bad.
It's not.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, we need to start moving towards the door. Ulrich, on his turn, will express his concern and say that we as a group need to start moving towards the door.
Yeah. The thing is, if I move towards the door and I get hit by literally anything, I will probably die.
Oh, don't worry. I had, I think, almost double your hit points, and if I got hit by anything, I would die too. So we're all in that boat together.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get up, try and I don't know if there's any sort of like a little like thing that's on the map here. I don't know if it's actually helpful to me, but Eerie tries to like squish into the rock as much as she can.
Okay.
Gosh. So the dragon is like just outside of my range, huh?
For what? Yep. What are you trying to do?
30 feet. It's, yeah.
I'm sorry, Taylor. I feel really bad. This is one of these moments where I'm like, I don't mean to make you this stressed.
This is so terrible. And I know it's just going to freaking...
Bonus action. Can I do is calling out a free action or no?
Sure. Yeah, sure. You can call out.
Eerie, did you move? Did I see her move?
Yeah, you see her racing forward. Yep.
I moved.
Oh. To their max. Oh well. I'm gonna be like, run to the door.
All right. I guess I'm just gonna try and tuck into the rock, and I'm gonna cast Mage Armor on myself.
Oh my god, Mage Armor wasn't up yet. This is
which was I just waited on that one, but I'm okay. It's basically like I just started the fight, so
it's basically like I just started. While your friends are dying. The veterans
I haven't done
go.
Shit.
These guys are all just like battling with dwarves, trying to deal with the dwarves. Angus, you're up on 8.
They didn't have a ton of they weren't. I hit them for a bit, didn't I?
Oh yeah, these guys are pretty banged up. The two right by the door.
Angus!
Nice.
Angus! You take a breath as you roll a 20 on the death saving throw. You have 1 hit point.
This is what
my
it's come
God.
to.
Ridiculous.
Angus, you have 1 hit point. You're laying on the ground. Malice's sword next to you. Crix
Potion.
is standing over you protectively. That's his turn, unfortunately, was that death save. He is now, in fact, alive, which is cool. Beaudry, Iron Stave goes. He comes like rushing in here and just drags himself over this freaking stupid wyvern. He could only get to about here, actually. He's like crouched underneath the fallen statue on top of the dead wyvern as he's here with you guys, and he is going to cast. Oh, yeah, he's going to cast freaking Mass Healing Word. So what is that? 1d4 plus his wisdom modifier. All of you guys get 7 hit points back. And then he can't do that. He can't do that. He's holding concentration. Shit, he can't do all these things. He can't even reach any, or he can reach Angus. He like reaches out and grabs you, Angus, and he's gonna give you a 3rd level cure wounds. So that's 24. That's another 27 hit points back.
Damn.
Sweet.
Well, so 27 total from that one, just move right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
27 on the second one, and then 7 on the first. That's 34 for you, 7 for everybody else. What?
Just what did he just give me?
34 hit points altogether. Yeah.
No, not altogether. Just that move right there. That what he just
27.
did. 27. Okay, thank you.
Lothar, like standing by himself back here, he's like, I don't believe this. He's like walking like away further and further from you all, but he shoots. Continue shooting.
Oh my gosh. The only freaking one that can hit it.
Lothar's like, come on, we need to run. We're all gonna die. As the arrows like, I'm like sailing in from back here.
Oh my gosh. He's the one on the rolling of damage every single time. Every single time.
Ulrich, you're up.
Fuck.
Can
I don't
we
even
guess
have my
by
bow,
1,000
do I?
cuts this thing?
You don't. Your bow is on the
No.
ground over by Angus, man. You have your hand axe, which does not have range penalties because it's
I
a
know.
magical throwing hand axe. So, you know.
Yeah. What's that?
You gonna move?
Not sure what I'm gonna do yet.
The dwarves actually did go on 20. I've been letting them go on that turn. But so you see, like, the dwarves seem to have overwhelmed a couple of these dudes.
Okay. Does it seem like there's a path to the entrance?
Yes.
Where?
It's not drawn well on the map, but it's here past the dwarves.
Okay.
It's here.
So they seem like they're about to go in.
No, they're like fighting out here with you guys. They just like cut down these veterans and like they're turning to the dragon as Beaudry is like screaming, "Kill it! Kill it, boys!"
All right. Then I am with my axe. I'm gonna throw it, recall it, and throw it again.
Okay, got
Just
it.
throw
Action,
this thing.
bonus action, finishing the action. 19 and 20, hit and hit.
Yes.
The hand axe chops in for 7. It reappears in his hand, and you throw it again. The second it appears there for another 8. That's 15. Ulrich, that was your action. That's your bonus action.
I am gonna say, start moving towards the door, and I'm gonna move 5, 10. Yes.
You're basically up in here.
Right.
Okay, cool. Ulrich, you go charging for the door. At this point, the dragon is like screams again.
It keeps knocking me down. I keep getting back up. Is the shield still on me or no?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
This thing has put me down 2 or 3 times now.
Twice.
Ew.
First, let's see.
Please
Hey! Sick!
no. No.
It leaps up into the air.
It's gonna go. Oh no!
It flies. Let's just double check my movement. Okay, that's gonna be half its movement. At which point it unleashes lightning breath. Yep, like that.
No! I am going to die.
Let me think about this for a second. It really wants to kill as many dwarves as possible.
Yeah,
It's going to be better at this
Just
than
do it.
I am. I think it just leaps up into the air, and it's going to put the lightning breath straight into this whole row of dwarves. Yep. Let me double check myself, actually. I'm sorry. Tactics, you know. That's right at the edge of its line, huh? Yeah, that's what it's going to do. It leaps up here. It flies like just ever so slightly. It gets a line on all these dwarves, and it's going to blast them with lightning. So I'm going to roll for these 5.
Oh my gosh.
And then this 6th guy down here. Oh, boy.
Oh my gosh. What is happening?
I mean, a dragon is killing all your friends.
Yeah, but we can't roll.
That's basically what's happening. Yup. Dwarves are obliterated. Dwarves just are like, ah! As lightning explodes through their ranks. And you're just like, oh no. Oh no. I think all of these guys drop. Even the ones who made their saving throws have some damage on them already. Homeboy down here in the back definitely drops. Thus end the lines of what a shame. But Grang, Amos, Rappin, Dunnel, and Bindle, the candy maker, all fall. They all fall. And the dragon, like, it seemed a bit hurt at this point. It's like not thrilled about this. I think like it screams at you. It's just like, Mount Canaan will end you. And it like proceeds to like circle up over this like ruin. It's like flying essentially directly away from you guys, though it's still in your line of sight until next round. So I'm gonna like play out the round here. Crixus, you're up on 15. What do you want to do?
Did you say the dragon looks damaged?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty hurt. Yeah. You guys have been chipping away at it quietly. There is still one soldier up here, by the way. It's like worth noting. And he's screaming, I think, at it, take me with you! Take me! And it just like glances at him.
There
as
was
it's, like,
still
flying
morale
away.
rolls.
How high up is the dragon?
It's gaining in altitude because it's like flying up the pitch of the mountain. Like it's only about 20 feet off the ground, and it's staying 20 feet off the ground, but the ground's pitching upwards, right? So it's basically like however far this is from you plus 40 feet.
Forget. Don't worry about it. Forget. I'm not going to bother.
Okay, it's like 100 feet away from you.
No, I'm not going to bother. Don't worry about the mathematics. I'm going to heal Angus.
Angus is fine.
Angus is
fine?
full health. Yeah, Beaudry like healed him up when he came crawling in.
Oh, he was completely healed.
Mm-hmm.
Like 30. Yeah. It's
Kill it, Mike.
not completely healed, but not worth you casting magic for.
Kill that fucker.
Rich, I don't know. How do you want to call this? It's up to you. I'm sorry. I don't know what you want to do. It's weird.
Well, he's healed. Like you would have looked at him and like realized like he doesn't need it. I mean, do you heal yourself, or did you just heal him up to full anyway? Is that the deal?
Well, if he looked heal, I probably would. I mean, he looked pretty decent, like really solid. Then I probably wouldn't have healed him.
Okay.
I thought looked through. That was my impression. I thought the guy I knew he got healed, but I didn't realize he was healed like 80% or 90. He looked like he really came back.
Okay, so what do you want to do? In other words, just tell me what you would like to do for your round.
Then I'm just gonna go crazy. And how far away is the dragon? Is the dragon
100 feet
away?
100 feet.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna do a Dragon Ball bolt at it just for fun.
Go for it. 22 hits. Roll damage.
Yes.
For another 11, we see this like dragon maw like surge off of Crixus, crashing into it. It's illuminated with this turquoise glow afterwards, right? That's your action. Movement bonus action.
I'm gonna head to the doors. I'm gonna go by Holbrook. Well, how far can I go? Oh, I have to go around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. You can get like right about to
Can
here.
I
You can
jump
get a little
over?
further. Sure. You go scrabbling over the statue. You land on the other side for sure.
We got it. Just put me wherever. I don't know how far I can go. Here or here? Is that okay?
Yeah. One more space back, and you're in good shape. Erie, you're up on 14. Here, split the difference right there.
Sure.
Erie, you're up on 14. The dragon is not quite 100 feet from you, more like 90.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. But do I get advantage?
If you make an
On my
attack
attack?
roll, you would have advantage, absolutely.
All right. At this point, at this range, Yuri will like run towards the door. Get right next to Ulrich, and at this point, so I ran 25 feet, so it's still pretty far away from me.
75.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, it's 75. It's less than it. 65 feet away from you because it was only 90 from you.
Firebolt.
Hits. Roll damage.
Yeah.
This is why I flew away early. It's not going to die on this hill. The firebolt crashes into it, searing the thing's back. That's your movement. That's your action, Erie. That's your turn, right?
Yeah, and she's just like screaming at it, like, "You'll die before Malkaden gets to us. This is for Erkengard."
And I think this guy is just like, ah, and he draws his swords and comes like charging forward at the pair of you because he's going to die no matter what. So he's going to go down fighting. So he takes a longsword strike at you, Erie, then one at Ulrich, and then a short sword for Ulrich as well. 11 misses. 20. Does that hit you, Ulrich? No, right?
Not with the shield up, no.
And so 21, 18. So like he's just swinging. Your shield blocks it. The spectral shield blocks another attack. Erie, you like duck out of the way. The mage armor deflecting it. That's his turn. Angus, you're up on 8.
Angus moves here.
That's your movement, action, bonus action.
Done.
Okay. You don't want to use your action to dash or anything? You're good?
I had to use half. No, because I don't want to be standing out in the open if it gets its breath weapon back.
Got it. Fair enough. Beaudry goes on 20. He like drops himself back in and he's like, no! As he sees all these dwarves have dropped. And he's just like, bring it from the sky! He's like screaming at the other dwarves. He will follow suit with Crixus and just fire off a guiding bolt at this thing. 12, which misses as like tears stream down the poor dwarf's eye. The other dwarves, meanwhile, with their crossbows, they're gonna fire. The 3 guys over here, that one hit.
Nice.
These 2 like drop their picks and they like follow suit, firing as well. Nope. So one of them hits for 2 points of piercing damage, which is not enough. Lothar goes.
I'm hollow, die. He's been tagging.
Imagine, I want Lothar to crit so badly right now. Nope, Lothar finally misses. His hands are like shaking as he's just like, what are you doing? We need to run the other way. The arrow's like sailing to no avail. Ulrich, you're up on 16.
Yeah, unfortunately, if this dude is swinging at us, I got to go for him. So I'm going to recall my hand axe and with my bonus action and take 2 attacks.
20! It's actually a 19, but he's a champion, so we just yell 20 anyway. That's a hit. For 13 end?
Did he drop?
No, he's still up.
All right. Take a second attack.
He's pretty hurt, though. That's a hit. Roll damage. Yes, with that, you cleave into him and he drops. He staggers back, falling to the ground. Dead. Ulrich, that's your action. That's your bonus action. Do you have movement?
I'm going to go to the top of the stairs. Well, I'm going to see if any of these guys are still alive.
No, they're all like, pretty well obliterated. Actually, this one and this one, they're not entirely dead yet. The rest of them are, but these two are like dying as much as you were.
So I will, I guess, just send up the alert. Like, hey, over here, come out.
Okay, with that, the dragon goes. The dragon goes. We see its wings like... It uses its movement, it uses its action to dash, and we watch it like surge up over the rise of this mountain which contains the tomb of Guralkan. Cold air pours out from beneath the rubble that has been like excavated, boulders pulled out of the way, leaning back into this place. Ulrich cries for help for these two fallen dwarves that lay on the stairs.
Yuri like screams after the dragon. She's like, "Coward! Coward! Running away!"
You want it to
come
come
back?
back?
Draconic?
Yeah, she knows Draconic. She's yelling at it.
And I think that it's at this point that we drop out of initiative. In these immediate moments afterwards, Eerie is like standing in the courtyard, right? Like screaming in Draconic at this dragon that we watch trail over the mountain. Ulrich on one knee leaning over these two dwarves, their breath shallow as they lay amidst their like charred remains of their companions. I think Beaudry is like, they're alive! They're alive! And he comes charging forward. Crixus, what do you do?
If they're alive, then I do... They have 0 hit points?
Yeah, a couple of them are like still potentially alive. Yeah, that's what Ulrich's saying.
Spare the dying on them?
Yes. So you cast Spare the Dying on one, and I think we see this moment where like Crixus and Beaudry are like standing next to each other, and their mouths are both like moving. They're both murmuring these prayers, separate invocations to like separate deities, as it were. But both of them, as like you finish your prayers, you see two of the dwarves like their eyes flutter, their breath like coming easy, right? Their bodies are burned badly and hurt. Angus, what are you doing in the midst of all of this?
What does Spare the Dying do?
It stabilizes them so they're no longer rolling death saves.
I can heal them. He's looking around for anybody who needs healing.
This guy over here is still up. There's a dwarf over to the side. As you see these dwarves, they're kind of yelling like, wait!
Wait?
It's Donald! Donald lives! I'm sorry, I just have to check my names.
Are we still under the... Is the Beacon of Hope for an area or for people who are in the area
It's
when
for
it's
people
cast?
who were in the area when it was cast.
Is it still up?
Yeah.
He will cast a Cure Wounds, doing, 8 plus 8 plus 4.
It's 20.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yep.
He heals him for 20.
But so it doesn't do him. The Beacon of Hope was just on you guys. Beaudry had run from the other dwarves. So he still gets 16 back, though, in other words, right?
Oh, I thought it was... it's... Okay. It's not the
receiving. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. So we see Angus, like, running over to these other dwarves as he heals Donald. And I think it's like with this scene of like carnage sprayed out across like this courtyard, the towering statue of Guralkan, which has stood for over 1,000 years since the Titans erected it, shattered, broken, corpses of wyverns laid out here. Dragon's blood is mingled with the blood of dwarves and Minotaur and Genasi around this courtyard. And yeah, I think that like the scene just kind of like fades slowly to black, and that's where we leave you guys tonight.
What the fuck?
That was more stressful than dying.
That was fun, right?
That was worse than dying.
Honestly,
oh my gosh.
you guys worked him over much more than you feel like you did. I'll say that. Like he fled in the nick of time. I don't think he would have made another round of combat there.
That's why I was trying to like yell after him, like,
well,
goad him.
Maybe next time.
Who knows?
Maybe next time. Anyway, guys, I hope that was all right.
It's fucking crazy, man.
Crazy, but it's great.
That dragon came in and started tearing us up, and I'm like, yeah, so we're all just gonna wake up captured. Like that's what's about to happen.
Right.
No way. There's no way.
It's like middle of the video game. And you're like, my character isn't gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna like wake up in like the enemy prison and have to like escape. Oh, goodness.
Wake up with my girl on the disc peeling me grapes. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
Right. That's precisely what's gonna happen. That is how it's gonna start. You're gonna be like, "This is great." Then slowly the illusion will melt away. You're gonna realize, like, "Oh my God, I'm 1,000 years old." You know, she's been at me for centuries. That was Harry. You guys pushed him pretty hard, but yeah, I mean, a lot of things went really rough for you in the beginning of that fight. Like, I hate to make you feel worse about anything that you chose to do, but yeah, like I'm gonna shoot the wyvern so it turns back around and fights us. That complicated things, yes. I think for you, and then Eerie, like just a
third level spell slot.
Yeah, like that was rough, and the positioning, like the standing there, even though that didn't put a lot of damage into you or anything. Like, yeah, that was kind of tough. Kind of tough.
Yeah, I definitely did not foresee that thing pulling the 180. I thought it was going to fly right past us, take the 2 arrows, and keep going.
Yeah, I know. But you shot it good. You know? And they're very like reptilian, you know? It's just like, something hurt me, lash out, you know? Like it just wheeled right around on you. Get out of here, Egglesteins. Got cat problems. She really wants to be on camera. All right. I know, you're a superstar. She's like a little diva.
She's like the perfect like villain. Like, yeah.
She is. She's a very like let me stroke my cat villain cat. Yeah. You probably can't hear that well. She would be a star if I put her on camera more. She's very adorable. Anyway, to that end, you guys, you've made it to the tomb of Gural Khan. Somehow you saved more dwarves than I expected. These guys got badly obliterated through failed saving throws.
Love you trying to kill your NPCs so you don't have to remember the names.
I love remembering their names. They're all so special to me. I hope that was fun for you. I hope you're excited about next week. Now we get to like the real questions of what's going to happen. Also the fact that there's a dragon waiting for you to come out of this tomb. So maybe you'll find that back door you were looking for from the inside. Also, hopefully. There was no Minotaur on the back of that dragon, so brace yourselves.
Goodness, there was not a Minotaur on the back.
So the Minotaur's inside.
He's definitely not inside with the Maw of the Titans. Don't worry about it.
Can't have the Maw of the Titans. Doesn't exist.
On that note, I hope you guys had fun. That was cool. That was an interesting one. That was really a dramatic fight. What's going on with everybody as we say our goodbyes? John, you're just here to be here and be supportive.
Jeez. Yeah, I can't even talk about anything else, man. I'm just like,
okay. That's totally fair.
I mean, yeah. Let me hype stuff. I just got killed. I mean, I'm ready to hype stuff now.
You did not get killed. There's a whole group of people trying to resurrect my actually dead player character. You just got to 0 hit points. Big distinction. Taylor did get killed last week. So how about you, Taylor? Anything you want to promote? Because it's been full 7 days since you died.
Yeah. Rania422 on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
My tweet has like all of my links on it, so I don't have to list them. Go check it out.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm stressed, which means it's good.
Yep.
This is what this is for.
Yep.
It's quite a contrast from our home game where We just fought like a friggin' the levels. It's so interesting, the difference.
Being 5th level is not being 15th level. Yeah.
It's eye-opening.
Yep.
Truly.
Yep. You lose perspective. I do.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll just throw this dragon at him. No problem. Kurt, how about you? What's going on with you?
Oh, nothing. I'm drained and good.
Thank you for hanging out. Kurt's doing a good Top Chef podcast. Go check out his Twitter feed to find that. It's going to be awesome. Kurt loves podcasting about Top Chef. He's just dragon emotionally exhausted. Mike, what's up with you?
I'm very excited because we're going to be 6th level soon. Yeah. Yeah.
Mike,
right,
I love
Joe?
your dedication to the level up, dude.
Right.
If it weren't for you, these people would never ask me, and I could leave them at 5th level forever.
I mean, 2 deadly encounters. Come on, everybody. We're getting closer, right? We're getting closer.
This is Abrea. You know, we're used to it.
On the post-show recaps Discord, the experience is really great. You need a number of sessions equal to the level you're looking for. And so, frankly, that's pretty close. That would have been 6 sessions between your last level up and now. So according to those rules, you should level up.
Yes.
But does that mean we leveled up?
No, probably not, but I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted. Mike's going to kill me. Don't kill me, dude. Kill the dragon.
Those are the rules? I like the... Who made up the rules?
I did. I made up the rules. I'm the worst. I'm the worst. I didn't make all the rules. We blame that on Gygax. I just am adjudicating the rules now, you know.
Okay.
That's awesome.
You guys, I love you. Thank you for participating in these shenanigans with me. This has been a lot of fun. Firelight Tales, Titans Heirs, episode 12. That's a wrap. We'll be back next week, though we're short one Crixus Copperstone, so I have some ideas we'll talk about, but we'll see. We'll be back next Monday, 9 o'clock.
Awesome.
Everybody, good night. Goodbye.
Good night, everybody.